Chapter 4452. The middle-aged man's cultivation was too strong. His aura was suffocating. Many people turned to look at the middle-aged man in horror. He's Divine Heavenly King's fourth son, Shinzongtian. Suddenly someone said with a trembling voice. Shinzongtian was a name that made people tremble. First, it was because his identity was too extraordinary. Divine Heavenly King's son. Second, it was because Shinzongtian's cultivation was too strong. Shinzongtian was a quasi-true immortal expert. He had a high position in the Sacred Legion. Such a powerful existence would not leave the Sacred Legion easily. But now, he had left the Legion. No one knew why. He's Shinzongtian? I've heard of his reputation, but I didn't expect to meet him. The Blood Sky Guards he created is definitely one of the most terrifying factions. They have been secretly investigating the Sinner's bloodline. It's said that anyone who is suspected by the Blood Sky Guards will have their entire family slaughtered. Yeah, the Blood Sky Guards are like venomous snakes in the dark. They're sinister and terrifying. Why did Shinzongtian appear here? Logically speaking, a big shot like him shouldn't appear here. Many people couldn't help but talk about it. Everyone was shocked. Shinzongtian's identity was too extraordinary. For such an extraordinary person to appear here was enough to explain many things. Although the cultivators in Sin Realm hated the Sacred Legion, they didn't show it. However, no one dared to express their hatred. The Sacred Army controlled the life and death of the Sin domain. Who dared to offend them? Wouldn't that be courting death? I know you're here. Come out, Shinzongtian said. His voice was extremely cold. Everyone was shocked. From Shinzongtian's tone, it seemed like he was looking for someone. Moreover, Shinzongtian was emitting killing intent. It seemed that the person he was looking for was also an extremely terrifying existence. However, no one responded to Shinzongtian. Shinzongtian said indifferently, "Since that's the case, I'll destroy you and this city." As soon as he finished speaking, Shinzongtian slapped the void with his palm. Then, something terrifying happened. An incomparably huge energy handprint condensed in the void. That energy handprint directly enveloped the entire small town. Shinzongtian actually wanted to destroy the entire town. Spare my life, spare my life. The cultivators in the town were intimidated by the pressure emitted from Shinzongtian's body. They didn't even have the strength to lift their legs. Not to mention escaping. Many people begged Shinzongtian for mercy. He hoped that Shinzongtian would spare their lives. However, Shinzongtian completely ignored their pleas. Perhaps in his eyes, they were just a bunch of ants. In the blink of an eye. Killing a bunch of ants. Wasn't this very normal? At least in Shinzongtian's opinion. This was a very normal thing. There was no need for any burden at all. This person is truly vicious and merciless. Lin Feng's expression couldn't help but become extremely gloomy. He could not save the others. That was because he couldn't even protect himself. Lin Feng used his haki to cancel out the terrifying pressure from Shinzongtian's body. He then planned to leave this place through the void. He dodged Shinzongtian's terrifying attack. But at this moment, a voice suddenly came from a restaurant in the town. Shinzongtian, your target is me. Why do you have to implicate so many innocent people? As soon as the voice fell, a cultivator flew out from the restaurant. Lin Feng looked over and saw that the cultivator was a middle-aged cultivator wearing a black robe. The middle-aged cultivator's aura was chaotic. It seemed that he was injured. After the middle-aged cultivator flew out, he slapped his palm towards the huge palm that was descending from the sky. Bang! Accompanied by the sound of a violent collision. Bang! In an instant, the middle-aged cultivator and Shinzongtian's attack collided. Then, they broke Shinzongtian's attack. Devil Realm Sinner's blood! You finally came out! Today, you won't be able to escape even if you have wings! Shinzongtian looked at the middle-aged cultivator indifferently. His voice was filled with endless killing intent. Lin Feng was shocked. The middle-aged cultivator was actually a Devil Realm Sinner's blood. It seemed that he was also one of the Devil Realm experts that entered the Undying Realm with the Extreme Devil Sovereign. Give me your life. Shinzongtian directly flew towards the middle-aged cultivator and wanted to kill him. If you want to fight, I'll fight you to the end. But this is not the place to fight, the middle-aged cultivator said coldly. Then, he quickly flew into the distance. Where do you think you're going? Shinzongtian's voice was indifferent. He quickly chased after the middle-aged cultivator. In the blink of an eye, both sides disappeared without a trace. After they left, the surroundings were in an uproar. Everyone was talking about the middle-aged cultivator. In fact, before this, many people were talking about the Devil Realm Sinner's blood. This was the Sin domain. A domain that had a deep connection with the Sinner's blood. Among the crowd, there might be someone who was related to the Sinner's blood. Devil, not necessarily a devil, and the so-called immortal, not necessarily an immortal. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. It was no wonder that Lin Feng would have such thoughts. Shinzongtian was a member of the Sacred Army, a high and mighty quasi-immortal. But in order to force the Devil Realm Sinner's blood out, he didn't even hesitate to kill the entire town. What was the difference between such a person and an unforgivable evil demon? On the other hand, the Devil Realm Sinner's blood. Although he came from the Devil Realm, although he was a devil, in the eyes of others. However, in order not to implicate others, he took the initiative to appear. In order not to implicate others, he quickly lured Shinzongtian away. He didn't want to fight here. So, many times, the so-called immortal wasn't necessarily a good person. The so-called devil wasn't necessarily a bad person. It's a pity that I didn't have the chance to talk to this Devil Realm Senior. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. Lin Feng was also a sinner's blood. He naturally had many things to ask the Devil Realm Sinner's blood. Perhaps the other party knew more things. It's a pity that my cultivation isn't enough. If my cultivation was strong enough, I would join hands with the Devil Realm Senior to kill Shinzongtian. Lin Feng felt a little regretful. He rested in the town for a day. Originally, Lin Feng planned to inquire about the Undying Realm Sinner's blood descendants in the town. But it wasn't easy to get information here. Someone told Lin Feng that he needed to go to some ancient city's black markets. Perhaps he could get some useful information. Lin Feng immediately left the town. He flew in the forest. On this day, dark clouds rolled, lightning flashed, thunder rumbled, and rain poured down. Lin Feng saw a cave in the distance and flew towards it. He wanted to find a place to hide from the rain. Chapter 4453. The cultivator sitting in the cave was none other than the Devil World's Sinner's blood. When Lin Feng saw him, he couldn't help but be shocked. He never thought that he would see the Sinner's blood of the Devil World here, which made him very surprised. This person's cultivation was extremely terrifying. Lin Feng guessed that he should be a quasi-true immortal. At this moment, he was recuperating. When Lin Feng came in, he didn't even open his eyes to look at Lin Feng. He had probably already prepared some emergency measures. Therefore, he wasn't afraid of others coming in. Lin Feng didn't leave. He sat to the side and waited for the cultivator to finish recuperating. Outside, the rain was pouring. Lin Feng wasn't in the mood to cultivate. He looked outside. Why aren't you leaving? Suddenly, a voice resounded in the cave. Lin Feng looked over and saw that the Devil World's Sinner had awakened. Why should I leave? Lin Feng asked. Aren't you afraid that I, a demon, will kill you? The Devil World's Sinner asked. Demons are not demons, immortals are not immortals. In my world, there are no immortals or demons. There are only good and bad, Lin Feng said. Do you think I'm a good person? The Devil World's Sinner asked. Of course, because I saw everything that happened in the town, Lin Feng replied. The Devil World's Sinner was stunned. Clearly, he didn't expect Lin Feng to answer him like this. Then, he laughed out loud and said, Boy, I didn't realize that you were such an interesting person, Lin Feng said. Senior, you flatter me. Senior's injuries don't seem to have healed. My soul and Dantian were injured. Naturally, the recovery will be slower, but it's not a big problem. Then, he asked, "What's your name?" "This junior is Lin Feng." "How should I address you, senior?" Lin Feng asked curiously. "Wu Tianhai." The Devil World sinner introduced himself. "So, it's Senior Wu. Are you also an expert of the Wu race?" Lin Feng asked curiously. Wu Tianhai narrowed his eyes at Lin Feng and said, "What? You know about the Wu race?" Lin Feng said, "Perhaps many people in the Undying Realm have forgotten about the Wu race, but this junior hasn't. I'm not from the Undying World, but from the 9 prefectures. When I was ascending to the Undying World, I happened to run into Senior and the others who barged into the Undying World. Later on, I met another Devil World expert at the Ascension Pool outside the Black Sand region's heavenly withered city. He claimed to be from the Witch tribe. Therefore, this junior remembered it in his heart. I think that Senior might also be from the Shaman tribe." The 9 prefectures used to be the starting point of the myriad worlds. It was incomparably prosperous, and the number of experts it produced was even more than the 3 supreme realms and the Undying Realm. Unfortunately, it declined. "How is the 9 prefectures now?" Lin Feng said. "The current 9 prefectures is gradually moving towards a golden age of cultivation. Experts are also appearing one after another. Perhaps it will flourish once again." Wu Tianhai couldn't help but sigh. The final flourish is just a passing cloud. It was no wonder he had such thoughts. In fact, Lin Feng sometimes had similar thoughts. Now that the apocalypse had arrived, the golden age of cultivation was like the final radiance of the setting sun. It was destined to not last. Lin Feng was very clear about this, and Wu Tianhai was also very clear about this. Lin Feng had obtained the Devil Lord's token. In the future, he would head to the Devil World and lead it. Therefore, Lin Feng was very interested in the mysterious Devil World. Therefore, he asked, "Senior, can you tell me about the Devil World? What kind of world is it?" Wu Tianhai said, "The current Devil World is very chaotic. The various major powers are divided, and all of them want to unify the Devil World. However, no one is able to convince the other powers. Therefore, the various powers in the Devil World are currently at war, and the losses are huge. The various powers have weakened greatly." Hearing this, Lin Feng couldn't help but think inwardly. The various powers in the Devil World are at war. They are obviously waiting for me to head to the Devil World and subdue the various powers there. However, now is not the time to head to the Devil World. When I become truly powerful in the future, I will definitely rule over the Devil World. At that time, I will control the Devil World. At that time, the Devil World will definitely be a great help to me. Senior, do you have any plans? Lin Feng asked. Wu Tianhai said, "First, I will treat my injuries. Then I will search for the bloodlines of the Devil World. I wonder if I can still find them." Lin Feng guessed. The bloodlines of the Devil World that Wu Tianhai spoke of. They should all be sinners' bloodlines. It seems like the sinners' bloodlines of the Devil World that forced their way into the Undying World have different motives. Lin Feng said, "Senior's cultivation is so powerful. How did you get injured? This junior feels that Shinzongtian alone shouldn't be able to injure you to this extent, right?" Wu Tianhai said, "I was injured by the combined forces of Shinzongtian, the demon lord of myriad fiends, and Old Man Black Wind." Lin Feng said, "I know that Shinzongtian is the son of the divine heavenly king. Who are the demon lord of myriad fiends and Old Man Black Wind?" Wu Tianhai said, "The demon lord of myriad fiends and Old Man Black Wind are both experts under the divine heavenly king. Furthermore, they are highly regarded by the divine heavenly king." "So that's the case." Lin Feng nodded. Boom! A terrifying aura filled the air. Upon sensing it, Lin Feng's expression changed. Such a terrifying aura. At the very least, it was the aura of a subimmortal expert. Lin Feng and Wu Tianhai quickly walked out. Then, the two of them saw a cultivator walking over from afar. It was a cultivator. It was Shinzongtian. Seeing Shinzongtian, Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. This guy was really like a ghost that wouldn't leave. Wu Tianhai looked at Lin Feng and said, "Little brother, you should leave quickly. What happened here? It has nothing to do with you. Ha ha ha, leave? None of you will be leaving today." Loud laughter could be heard. Then, another expert walked over. This person's demonic aura filled the sky. His aura was also extremely terrifying. His strength shouldn't be any weaker than Shinzongtian. It seemed that this person should be the demon lord of myriad fiends. This person should be an expert of the demonic path. According to Lin Feng's knowledge, the demonic beast had a tense relationship with the heavenly court. However, the demon lord of myriad fiends had sided with the heavenly court. Of course, just because the demonic beasts were against the heavenly court didn't mean that all demonic beasts would be against the heavenly court. That wasn't realistic. Wu Tianhai and that human ant, this place is filled with green mountains and clear waters. It should be a good place to bury you. Chapter 44-54. The third cultivator should be that old man Black Wind. This guy was like a malicious spirit. The aura emitted from his body made Lin Feng's hair stand on end. The three great experts arrived together. The situation was not too good. They split into three directions and surrounded the place. Lin Feng knew that he and Wu Tianhai had been locked onto by the three of them. Although Wu Tianhai was very powerful, he was still injured. Lin Feng guessed. One-on-one. Wu Tianhai might be at a disadvantage. Not to mention facing three quasi-true immortals. Lin Feng's cultivation was very strong. However, against these quasi-true immortal level experts, Yi Zichen could not help but frown. He was still not strong enough. Lin Feng obviously knew that the current situation was extremely bad. His face was gloomy. Why do you have to involve a junior? You don't even have the magnanimity to let such a junior go? Wu Tianhai said. The three experts raised their eyebrows slightly. In their eyes, Lin Feng was naturally not a threat. They also did not take Lin Feng seriously. The reason why they were unwilling to let Lin Feng go was because they suspected that Wu Tianhai had some treasure or inheritance, or something else. They handed it over to Lin Feng. If they let Lin Feng go, wouldn't that be letting the tiger return to the mountain? This kid must die, Shinzongtian said indifferently. Wu Tianhai said, I know what you're worried about. I don't know this kid at all. It's just that when I was recuperating here, he accidentally entered my place of recuperation. I didn't give him any of my divine abilities or treasures. I can guarantee this with my own character. If you let him go, even if I'm killed by you, I won't destroy some of the precious items on me before I'm killed. If you don't let him go, even if you kill me, you won't get anything. After hearing Wu Tianhai's words, the three experts could not help but frown slightly. They actually believed in Wu Tianhai's character. The stronger the person, the more trustworthy they were. Especially people like Wu Tianhai. Although he was from the devil world, in fact, his character and the way he handled things made the three great experts quite admire him. But their positions were different. Therefore, Wu Tianhai had to die. And they also wanted to obtain something from Wu Tianhai. Good. We can promise you that. Brat, you can scram now. The black-winged old man looked at Lin Feng with a sinister gaze and reprimanded him. Lin Feng lowered his head, his expression incomparably gloomy. This old thing. He actually dared to tell him to scram. Lin Feng wished he could tear apart this old thing's bones. But Lin Feng knew he had to be patient for now. The current situation was extremely unfavorable to him and Wu Tianhai. He would continue to stay here. It would only implicate Wu Tianhai. In that case, if he retreated now and hid in the dark, he might be able to help. Let's go, stay far away. Lie well. Wu Tianhai patted Lin Feng's shoulder and said, Senior, be careful. Lin Feng said. Wu Tianhai nodded. Then Lin Feng flew away. After Lin Feng left, the three great experts looked at Wu Tianhai with murderous intent. Wu Tianhai, you're injured. Now that you're surrounded by the three of us, you have no chance of winning. Seeing that you're a powerful figure, we can give you a quick death. If you know what's good for you, you should agree, Shinzongtian said indifferently. Naturally, there was a price to pay for a quick death. For example, Wu Tianhai had to hand over the things that the three great experts wanted. But obviously, Wu Tianhai wasn't someone who would give up easily. He said indifferently. Let's fight. Whoosh. As soon as he finished speaking, Wu Tianhai quickly flew towards the black-wind old man. He chose to break out from the black-wind old man. This infuriated the black-wind old man. The three great experts surrounded Wu Tianhai, but Wu Tianhai chose to break out from the black-wind old man. What was the meaning of this? Wasn't this looking down on him? You're courting death. The black-wind old man shouted coldly, then used a powerful divine ability. He reached out with his hand, and an endless amount of black fog rolled out. A huge demonic hand appeared in the black fog. This divine ability was called the Ancestral Demon Hand. The Ancestral Demon Hand could destroy heaven and earth. It was very powerful. It was hard to imagine. As a sub-immortal expert, the black-wind old man was naturally very powerful. Wu Tianhai unleashed a myriad worlds demonic fist. He clashed with the black-wind old man. In fact, Wu Tianhai's strength was higher than the black-wind old man. His strength was even higher than any of the three great experts. But he was injured under the joint attack of the three great experts. So, his battle strength dropped. Now that he clashed with the black-wind old man, he didn't have much of an advantage. So, Wu Tianhai failed to break out. At this moment, Shinzongtian and the Demon Lord of 10,000 Demons also attacked. Their attacks were also very terrifying. Shinzongtian used the Azure Lion Big Dipper technique. This was a top immortal technique with heaven-defying power. After this divine ability was unleashed, an earth-shaking roar resounded through the clouds. Then, a gigantic lion appeared behind him. It was a green lion with a terrifying aura that made the gods tremble. The huge green lion roared and pounced towards Wu Tianhai. The Demon Lord of 10,000 Demons also used a powerful divine ability. The divine ability he used was called the Demon Lord Descends, Immortals and Demons Kneel. After this magical ability was used, an endless amount of demonic chi seemed to blot out the sky. A terrifying existence appeared in the demonic chi. That existence was wearing a royal robe and a crown. It seemed to be the supreme of the demon race. That existence was absolutely powerful to the point of causing others to be shaken. The aura he was emitting. It was like the aura of an immortal demon race ancestor when he awakened. Seeing that Shinzongtian and the Demon Lord of 10,000 Demons were attacking, the Black-Wind Old Man also used a new divine ability. This time, the divine ability he used was called the Dark Binding. This divine ability was a little special. It was a support-type divine ability. Shinzongtian, the Demon Lord of 10,000 Demons, and the Black-Wind Old Man had worked together for many years. So, they had great chemistry. As a team, they fought together. Not all of them would attack the other party. Sometimes, one would be in charge of attacking, while the other would be in charge of restricting the other party. Perhaps the effect would be better. Shinzongtian, the Demon Lord of 10,000 Demons, and the Black-Wind Old Man's team were like this. They had worked together for many years and were very familiar with each other's divine abilities and habits. So, when Shinzongtian and the Demon Lord of 10,000 Demons prepared their extremely powerful offensive divine abilities, the Black-Wind Old Man condensed the binding divine ability. Darkness descended. The darkness swallowed Wu Tianhai. In an instant, Wu Tianhai felt his body become heavier and heavier. In the darkness, it became extremely difficult for him to move. Chapter 44-55. When Wu Tianhai's movements were severely restricted, Shinzongtian and the Demon Lord of 10,000 Demons attacks arrived. Azure Lion Big Dipper Technique. Demon Lord Descends, Immortal and Demon Kneel. The power of these two divine abilities was extremely terrifying. If he took on these two divine abilities head-on, Wu Tianhai would most likely be severely injured. This point, Wu Tianhai was also very clear. However, Wu Tianhai was currently restricted and the situation was extremely unfavorable for him. Seeing that Shinzongtian and the Demon Lord of 10,000 Demons' attacks were about to hit Wu Tianhai. At this moment, Wu Tianhai's body turned into streaks of demonic energy. Although Wu Tianhai was injured, he was still a descendant of the witch tribe. He had many powerful techniques in his hands. The witch tribe was a very special tribe. This tribe was born with the ability to control the power of heaven and earth. This was an extremely terrifying technique. The witch tribe could control all kinds of power between heaven and earth. No one knew how many living beings there were. They were envious of the witch tribe's ability. Back then, the witch tribe was so powerful. This had a lot to do with the witch tribe's ability to control the power of heaven and earth. At the peak of their power, the witch tribe had the 12 ancestors of the witch tribe. After a long time, some of the witch tribe's heaven-defying divine abilities had been lost. However, there were still some heaven-defying divine abilities that were passed down. For example, the divine ability that Wu Tianhai was using now. This divine ability was called the Witch Barbarian Demon Transformation Art. Once it was used, one's body would turn into streaks of demonic energy. This would be able to disperse the opponent's attacks. Therefore, when Shinzongtian and the Demon Lord of 10,000 Demons attacked, all of their attacks landed on the streaks of demonic energy. The demonic energy was dispersed. Then, more demonic energy was produced from the demonic energy. A large amount of demonic energy started to roll violently. The demonic energy filled the sky. It covered the sky and covered the sun. Then, the demonic energy charged towards Shinzongtian, the Demon Lord of 10,000 Demons, and the Black-Wind Old Man. The expressions of the three experts suddenly sank. Then they attacked. A palm slapped towards the rolling demonic energy. Bang! 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 The three experts collided with the demonic energy. They were sent flying by the demonic energy. The demonic aura then rushed outside, intending to break out of the encirclement of the three mighty ones. Sneers appeared on the faces of the three experts. Whoosh! 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 In midair, a light flashed, and 3 swords flew out. The 3 swords were demon-slaying swords forged from demon-slaying immortal iron. The might of these 3 devil-slayer swords was extremely great. They had a very serious restraining effect on Devil Dao cultivators and Devil Realm cultivators. They waved their demon-slayer swords and swept them toward the rolling demonic chi in the void. Wherever the Devil Slayer sword passed, streams of devil chi were directly reduced to ashes. The Devil Slayer sword was indeed powerful. The damage it dealt to Wu Tianhai's devil chi was too great. Wu Tianhai's unique skill was probably one of his trump cards. At this moment, he used it to try and break out of the encirclement. But this time, he was restrained by the 3 people's Devil Slayer swords. The devil chi quickly retreated to the center of the encirclement. Then, he once again transformed into his true body. However, at this moment, Wu Tianhai's face turned even paler. Obviously. Just now, a lot of devil chi had been destroyed by the Devil Slayer swords in the hands of the 3 great experts. The damage done to Wu Tianhai was not small. Therefore, Wu Tianhai's situation seemed to be quite bad. Wu Tianhai, you are indeed a top expert of the Devil Realm. Your strength is really strong. If we did not join forces to deal with you, I'm afraid we would not be able to take you down. The evil lord looked at Wu Tianhai with a sinister gaze. Although he didn't want to admit it. But it was the truth. Previously, the 3 of them joined forces and luckily injured Wu Tianhai. If they fought alone, the 3 of them would have been killed by Wu Tianhai one by one. But joining forces to deal with Wu Tianhai was their advantage. Since they had the advantage, they would naturally utilize it to the greatest extent. Your body is not bad. It can be refined into an external incarnation. Black-Wind Old Man looked at Wu Tianhai with a sinister gaze. He had been sizing up Wu Tianhai's body. Wu Tianhai's body was indeed powerful. If it was refined into an external incarnation, it would definitely be very powerful. So, Black Wind Old Man was very interested in Wu Tianhai's body. Kill him, Shenzongtian said in a deep voice. He did not want to say anything more to Wu Tianhai. Right now, he only wanted to kill Wu Tianhai. The three experts once again charged towards Wu Tianhai. Wu Tianhai took out a war spear. He held the war spear in his hand and fought with the three experts. The three experts' attacks were endless. In addition, the three experts' demon slayer swords suppressed Wu Tianhai greatly. Hence, Wu Tianhai was surrounded by danger. Dozens of wounds appeared on his body, so deep that his bones could be seen. When they saw Wu Tianhai, who was covered in blood, the three experts immediately revealed excited expressions. He had killed a quasi-true immortal. This made them feel very excited. As the battle progressed, Wu Tianhai gradually became weaker. The three experts wanted to defeat Wu Tianhai in one fell swoop. Then, they would capture Wu Tianhai. They would not let Wu Tianhai die so easily. They wanted to torture Wu Tianhai. Then, they would get some information from Wu Tianhai. At this moment, Wu Tianhai felt that the hand holding the war spear was trembling. Facing the three experts who were charging towards him, he almost did not have much strength left to fight back. At this moment of crisis, Yi Zichen's expression changed. Suddenly, the demon slayer swords in the hands of the three experts all changed their direction and slashed towards the necks of the three experts. Lin Feng, who was hiding in the dark, made his move. Lin Feng had been trying to use the weapon control art recorded in the weapon incantation to control the demon slayer swords in the hands of the three experts. But the cultivation of the three experts was too strong. Their control over the demon slayer swords was also incomparably strong. So, it was very difficult to seize control of the demon slayer swords from the hands of the three experts. Lin Feng tried again and again. He failed again and again. However, Lin Feng never gave up. He kept trying. He kept trying. After failing dozens of times, Lin Feng finally succeeded. He took control of the three demon slayer swords. Under the control of Lin Feng, the three demon slayer swords began to attack their masters. The three experts did not expect this scene at all. However, they were powerful and their reactions were also extremely fast. Facing the attack of the demon slayer swords, their wrists that were holding on to the demon slayer swords suddenly exerted force. He then regained control of the demon slayer swords. Wu Tianhai had rich battle experience, although he did not know why the three demon slayer swords were counterattacking the three experts. But this did not prevent Wu Tianhai from seizing this rare opportunity to counterattack. He swept towards the three of them. Chapter 44-56. The three experts hurriedly blocked Wu Tianhai's attack. Clang! 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 Multiple collisions. A powerful force instantly entered their bodies through the demon slayer sword. The three experts instantly felt as though they were struck by lightning. They were all sent flying. Wah! 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 The three experts each spat out a mouthful of blood. They were so angry that they were about to go mad. He didn't know what was going on, but his sword had attacked them, and they had been injured by Wu Tianhai. It was a great humiliation. The three experts were infuriated. At this moment, Wu Tianhai quickly rushed out of the encirclement. Wu Tianhai, you won't be able to escape. There is no place for you in this world. Shenzongtian's voice was cold as he chased after Wu Tianhai with the demon slayer sword. When I catch you later, I will torture you. Demon Lord of Thousand Demons' voice was filled with endless murderous intent. He spat out a mouthful of blood from Wu Tianhai's attack. So, Demon Lord of Thousand Demons was extremely depressed. He could not wait to cut Wu Tianhai into pieces. I'm going to pull out your soul and throw it into the 9 hells purgatory to torture your soul. Black Wind Old Man also roared furiously. Although the three experts were injured by Wu Tianhai. However, their injuries were not particularly serious. So, their injuries did not affect their battle prowess too much. However, their injuries deeply infuriated the three of them. The three of them gritted their teeth in hatred. Wu Tianhai did not bother about the three of them as he quickly rushed forward. However, Wu Tianhai's injuries were quite serious. Wu Tianhai knew his own situation. So, Wu Tianhai's heart was heavy. Because Wu Tianhai knew. Today, he was afraid that he would not be able to escape from the three experts. Senior, this way. At this moment, a voice came from the left. Wu Tianhai looked over. He realized that it was Lin Feng. Lin Feng did not leave, which surprised Wu Tianhai. However, Wu Tianhai was relieved. Lin Feng was a very loyal person. He did not leave. He probably wanted to find a chance to help him? Wu Tianhai did not intend to implicate Lin Feng. Therefore, he did not fly towards Lin Feng. He said in a deep voice, "Leave now!" Lin Feng said loudly, "Senior, I've already constructed a space-time gate. Once we enter the space-time gate, we'll be able to leave quickly and avoid the pursuit of those three bastards." Three bastards? The three experts were slightly taken aback. Next, a raging flame of anger. It instantly exploded from his chest. That rage was about to ignite the three of them. A junior. They were ants in their eyes. He actually dared to use the term three bastards to describe the three quasi-true immortals. When had the three great powerhouses ever been humiliated like this? Each and every one of them wished they could tear Lin Feng apart right now. Wu Tianhai couldn't help but laugh. Looking at the unsightly expressions of the three experts, it was obvious how furious the three experts were right now. Wu Tianhai, who was originally flying forward, changed his direction. He quickly flew towards Lin Feng. Because Lin Feng had already set up the space-time gate. This caused Wu Tianhai to be extremely shocked. Because setting up the space-time gate was an extremely difficult task. It required an extremely deep understanding of formations and the Tao of space to be able to set up the space-time gate. A young cultivator like Lin Feng was actually able to set up the space-time gate. It was truly inconceivable. It seemed that he had underestimated this cultivator before. When Wu Tianhai flew towards Lin Feng, the three experts chased after him with their demon slayer swords. Right now, they were eager to kill Lin Feng. No. To be precise, they wanted to capture Lin Feng and torture Lin Feng until he was better off dead. This thought, it was even more urgent than capturing Wu Tianhai. Capturing Wu Tianhai, it was to obtain the item that Wu Tianhai had. And capturing Lin Feng, it was for dignity. Obviously, right now, dignity was even more important to the three experts. The three experts were very fast. Lin Feng felt that if he didn't stop them, Wu Tianhai wouldn't even be able to fly over. The three experts had already taken the lead to fly over. If that was really the case, then it would be tragic. Lin Feng didn't want to see such a thing happen. Lin Feng discovered that the three experts' emotions were extremely unstable under their rage. At this time, their fighting strength would decrease a lot due to the violent fluctuations in their emotions. Not only would their fighting strength decrease, even their control over the magic treasure would drop to the lowest point. Therefore, Lin Feng felt that it was time to use the military incantation again. He might even be able to control the treasures in the hands of the three experts. After having this thought, Lin Feng began to circulate the military incantation. Once. Failure. Twice. Failure. 3 times. Failure. 4 times. Success. The 3 demon slayer swords directly slashed towards the necks of the 3 experts. The 3 experts were shocked. This was even more sudden than before. Because before, they were in the middle of a battle and focused their attention. Their reaction was also fast. And this time, the 3 experts were all in a state of rage. They didn't expect that the demon slayer swords in their hands would attack them again. Therefore, the 3 experts were both shocked and furious. When the demon slayer swords slashed towards them, they flicked their fingers. Clang! 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 The demon slayer swords were blocked by their fingers. However, the demon slayer swords were still trembling violently, trying to break free from their grasp. Then, it attacked the 3 of them. Kid, it's you! The three experts looked at Lin Feng furiously. No matter how retarded they were. At this moment, they already knew that it was Lin Feng who was playing tricks in the dark. Otherwise, why would their treasured swords attack them? This didn't make sense at all. After figuring out what was going on, the three experts' hatred for Lin Feng had reached an unprecedented level. They hurriedly sealed the Devil Slayer's sword and then put it away. Then, the three experts quickly flew towards Lin Feng. But at this time, Wu Tianhai had already met up with Lin Feng. At this moment, Wu Tianhai also knew that Lin Feng was secretly helping him. That was why he was able to escape. Therefore, his heart was also filled with shock. Although Lin Feng was young, his methods were indeed extraordinary. Ha 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 ha, kid, I didn't expect you to be so powerful. Wu Tianhai laughed and said, It's just a small trick. It's not worth mentioning. Senior, let's go quickly, Lin Feng said. Wu Tianhai nodded. Then, they rushed towards the space-time gate that Lin Feng had created. The space-time gate was less than 1,000 meters away from the two of them. The two of them quickly arrived beside the space-time gate. They rushed into the space-time gate and disappeared. Then, the space-time gate disappeared. Damn it, who is this little bastard? He actually ruined our plans. Seeing Lin Feng and Wu Tianhai leave through the space-time gate, the three quasi-immortal experts roared in exasperation. Chapter 4457. Whoosh! There was a flash of light. Lin Feng and Wu Tianhai appeared 300 miles away. Wu Tianhai's body went limp and he almost fell to the ground. Lin Feng quickly reached out to support Wu Tianhai. Senior, how do you feel? Lin Feng looked at Wu Tianhai and asked with concern. Wu Tianhai said, My body is fine, you don't have to worry about me. Hearing that, Lin Feng couldn't help but nod and say, We can't stay here for long. Let's leave quickly. Then, we'll find a place for Senior to heal. Then, Lin Feng and Wu Tianhai left. They came to another area. Lin Feng opened up a cave abode. He and Wu Tianhai entered. Then, Lin Feng sealed the entrance with a restriction. Wu Tianhai sat down cross-legged and swallowed a few healing pills. He began to heal his injuries. Wu Tianhai was already injured. Now, he was even more injured. Fortunately, he survived. This was the silver lining in the misfortune. As long as he was alive, it was fine. If he died, then all hope would be lost. As for Wu Tianhai's injuries, he could only rely on himself. Lin Feng couldn't help much. Actually, physical injuries were the easiest to heal. The key was injuries to the origin, Tao, Dantian, and soul. These kinds of injuries were more troublesome. Wu Tianhai's soul and Dantian were injured. So, Wu Tianhai's situation was worse. Lin Feng also sat cross-legged. Then, he slowly adjusted his body. He had consumed a lot of energy. 2 hours later, Lin Feng had already recovered, but Wu Tianhai was still recovering from his injuries. Wu Tianhai's injuries needed time to recover. 3 days later, Wu Tianhai woke up. Senior, are you feeling better? Lin Feng asked with concern. Wu Tianhai said, I feel much better. Now my body is mine again. This feeling. This is great. That's good. Lin Feng nodded. Of course. Lin Feng knew that Wu Tianhai's injuries were only in a temporary state. It would take some time for him to fully recover. After that, Lin Feng continued, I'm afraid that Senior can't continue staying in Sin Domain. Especially since Senior's injuries haven't healed, it's even more unsuitable for you to continue staying in Sin Domain. I feel that Senior should temporarily leave Sin Domain. At the very least, he had to wait until his strength had more or less recovered. Then come to Sin Domain to look for a few more drops of Sinner's blood from the demon world. Hearing this, Wu Tianhai fell into deep thought, then said, All right, we'll do as you say. However, I've already been targeted by the experts of the Sacred Army. Even if I leave Sin Domain, the experts of the Sacred Army will definitely chase after me. Do you know why they're plotting against me? I wonder. Lin Feng shook his head. It's because of the ancestral Magus Jade Talisman, Wu Tianhai said. Ancestral Magus Jade Talisman? What the hell is that? Lin Feng couldn't help but ask. Grand Wizard Lin Feng knew about it. However, this was the first time Lin Feng had heard of the Grand Wizard's Jade Amulet. Could it be a treasure forged by the Grand Wizard? Wu Tianhai said. The 12 Grand Wizards of the Sorcerer tribe are among the earliest Xiantian lifeforms. They were born between heaven and earth, and when they were born, each of them was accompanied by a jade amulet. These jade amulets are the Grand Wizard's Jade Amulets. Every Grand Wizard has one Grand Wizard's Jade Amulet, so there are a total of 12 Grand Wizard's Jade Amulets. The Grand Wizard's Jade Amulets are treasures nurtured by heaven and earth. Later on, they were refined by our Sorcerer tribe's ancestors, so they became very special. According to our ancestors, the Grand Wizard's Jade Amulet hides one of the greatest secrets of heaven and earth. Moreover, there's another rumor. It's said that collecting all 12 Jade Amulets can even kill the mastermind, Hiss. Lin Feng couldn't help but gasp when he heard this. Wasn't this Grand Wizard's Jade Amulet too awesome? An ancient inheritance, the hope of an era. The Grand Wizard's Jade Amulet is enough to make people go crazy. Our tribe's Grand Wizard's Jade Amulet was lost with the fall of the 12 Grand Wizards. All these years, our tribe has been searching for the Grand Wizard's Jade Amulet. This time, I came to the Undying Realm and sensed the Grand Wizard's Jade Amulet's aura. Then I went to search for the Grand Wizard's Jade Amulet and found it in an ancient cave dwelling. However, at this time, Shinzongtian and the other experts of the Sacred Army also received clues and were searching for the Grand Wizard's Jade Amulet. However, I beat them to it. Therefore, this war is inevitable, Wu Tianhai said as he took out a jade amulet. It was a simple green jade amulet, half the size of a palm and covered with many patterns. After seeing the Grand Wizard's Jade Amulet, Lin Feng's eyebrows twitched violently. This was a top-notch true treasure. A treasure that could make people go crazy. I'm the target of the Sacred Army. Therefore, the Grand Wizard's Jade Amulet is too dangerous in my hands. If I meet with a mishap in the future, the Grand Wizard's Jade Amulet will be snatched away by the Sacred Army. Now, this Grand Wizard's Jade Amulet will be in your care, Wu Tianhai said as he handed the Grand Wizard's Jade Amulet to Lin Feng. Lin Feng was surprised. He didn't expect Wu Tianhai to give him the Grand Wizard's Jade Amulet. However, Lin Feng didn't refuse. This was the Grand Wizard's Jade Amulet. Such a heaven-defying treasure. Since Wu Tianhai gave it to him, Lin Feng would accept it. Even if the Sorcerer tribe wanted to take it back in the future, he would first understand the secrets of the Grand Wizard's Jade Amulet. He might even be able to obtain many powerful inheritances. Lin Feng took the Grand Wizard's Jade Amulet. The Grand Wizard's Jade Amulet was cold to the touch. Lin Feng also felt an extremely powerful energy from the Grand Wizard's Jade Amulet. It was like the energy of a vast ocean. All of it gathered in the Grand Wizard's Jade Amulet. Lin Feng tried to use his magic power to refine the Grand Wizard's Jade Amulet, but he failed in the end. Then, he tried to use a drop of blood to refine it, but he didn't succeed either. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. He said, "This Jade Amulet is so strange. I can't refine it. Whether or not you can refine the Grand Wizard's Jade Amulet depends on luck and fate. It can't be forced," Wu Tianhai said. Lin Feng said, "I believe that man can conquer nature." Wu Tianhai was stunned, then he smiled and said, "It's good that you have such thoughts." Then, Lin Feng and Wu Tianhai had a secret conversation for 6 hours. The two of them talked about many things. Lin Feng mainly asked about the Sorcerer tribe, the Devil World's Sinners' bloodline, the few Devil World's Sinners' blood descendants who were wandering in the Undying Realm, and so on. However, all good things must come to an end. Lin Feng and Wu Tianhai finally parted ways. Wu Tianhai accepted Lin Feng's suggestion, so he decided to temporarily leave the Sin domain and lie low. Lin Feng didn't leave the Sin domain. He was still active in the Sin domain. At night, Beast roars shook the sky. Lin Feng sat cross-legged on a tree branch, playing with the Grand Wizard's jade amulet. It wasn't easy to refine the Grand Wizard's jade amulet. Lin Feng tried many times, but he still couldn't refine the Grand Wizard's jade amulet. It was a pity that the Demon Lord went silent. If the Demon Lord didn't go into a state of silence, perhaps the Demon Lord knew how to refine the Grand Wizard's jade amulet. P.S. 12th update. Seeking recommendation votes, seeking monthly votes, seeking rewards. Keep working hard. 8th update. Chapter 4458. Divine Monarch City was one of the 7 great ancient cities of Sin Domain. Divine Monarch City's history was extremely ancient, and could be traced back to the era before the immemorial era. This ancient city had experienced countless upheavals but still managed to survive. It was said that the person who built the ancient city back then was called Divine Monarch Xian Yuan. Some legends said that Divine Monarch Xian Yuan was the descendant of Great Emperor Xian Yuan. Great Emperor Xian Yuan was the famous Emperor Huang, of the human race's 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors. As the descendant of Great Emperor Xian Yuan, Divine Monarch Xian Yuan was also a near-invincible existence. It was just a pity that the Xian Yuan clan had already declined. The present Xian Yuan clan had long run to God knows where. Or perhaps, the Xian Yuan clan had long been exterminated. This was also something that could not be said for certain. As a Sin blood clan, the Xian Yuan clan was persecuted extremely badly back then. In Sin Domain, God knows how many Xian Yuan clansmen's blood were buried. As a famous ancient city in Sin Domain, the current Divine Monarch City was also extremely lively. These ancient cities were all in the hands of the Sacred Army. Divine Monarch City was the same. Lin Feng saw the Cultivator Army on the city walls from afar. Those Cultivator Army were the Sacred Army's Cultivator Army. Many of them were powerful and had profound realms. Lin Feng walked towards Divine Monarch City step by step. Outside Divine Monarch City, there were already people coming and going. It was extraordinarily lively. Lin Feng was in the middle of the line, and then he followed the crowd. To enter Divine Monarch City, one had to pay an immortal stone. While queuing up, Lin Feng vaguely felt that someone was spying on him in the dark. But when Lin Feng looked carefully for the other party, he found nothing. This made Lin Feng puzzled. Could it be that he sensed wrongly? When it was Lin Feng's turn, Lin Feng paid an immortal stone and entered Divine Monarch City. Just as he entered Divine Monarch City, he saw a huge plaza. At this very moment, a large number of cultivators gathered in the plaza. Lin Feng was puzzled, not knowing what had happened. So he walked over, wanting to see what had happened in Divine Monarch City. Soon, Lin Feng arrived at the square. Then, he saw a group of cultivators from the Sacred Legion cutting down a huge statue. Then those people carried the statue away. Many people began to point and whisper. "Whose statue is that?" Lin Feng asked a puzzled cultivator beside him. "That is the statue of Lord God Xian Yuan. Since the ancient city was built, it has been integrated with the ancient city. Now, it has been destroyed by the Sacred Legion." The cultivator sighed. He was a cultivator of Divine Monarch City and had often come to the plaza to play since he was young. He still clearly remembered that this statue would occasionally release divine radiance. Many people bathed in the divine splendor. If they fell ill, they would recover quickly. If he needed to break through, he would be able to do so very quickly. Therefore, the cultivators of the Divine Monarch City had a very special feeling towards the statue of Divine Monarch Xian Yuan. But now, as he watched Emperor God Xian Yuan's statue being destroyed, there was nothing they could do. Therefore, they couldn't help but feel overshadowed. Lin Feng asked doubtfully, "Since this statue has always been here, why destroy it? I heard that a big shot came and couldn't stand the statue of Divine Monarch Xian Yuan standing here. This big shot once said that the descendants of sinners' blood are not qualified to build a statue. So he ordered people to destroy the statue. It is said that the big shot wants to build a statue of the sacred Heavenly King in this plaza," the cultivator said. "I also heard about this. It is said that the big shot's origin is extremely shocking. He is the grandson of the sacred heavenly king. His father is the vice commander of the sacred legion, Shinzongtian. Hearing this, Lin Feng was shocked. Shinzongtian's son? Thinking of this grandson, Shinzongtian, Lin Feng couldn't help but feel angry. What is this person called? Lin Feng asked. Xin Yanxing. The cultivator said. Another cultivator said. Xin Yanxing is a very powerful person. It is said that he has already broken through to the worldly immortal realm. In reality, he is only 50,000 years old this year. His future is limitless. He might even have a chance to break through to the true immortal realm. Damn it! I really hope that bastard dies from chi deviation. Someone cursed. The cultivators of the Sin realm were already complaining about the sacred legion. Many of them were suppressing their anger. Hearing that cultivator curse Xin Yanxing, the cultivator's companion was frightened. The cultivator's companion quickly covered his mouth. Then he said, Don't speak nonsense. Do you want to die? That cultivator knew that he had misspoken, so his face turned slightly pale. Lin Feng left the plaza. He planned to find a place to stay first. Lin Feng found an inn. Then he rented a courtyard. Under the guidance of a servant girl, Lin Feng walked towards the courtyard. He saw a dozen cultivators in front of him. They were walking under the guidance of a servant girl. They were all women dressed in white. Their figures were graceful and graceful. Although he couldn't see their faces, he could see their graceful bodies. They must be peerless beauties, right? Lin Feng was walking and admiring the silhouettes of the dozen celestial women. Not long after, the fairies arrived at their residence. The servant girl in front opened the door for them. Then the group of fairies entered the courtyard. Young master, we have also arrived, the servant girl who led Lin Feng said. Lin Feng's residence was right next to the group of fairies. It was about 100 meters away from the courtyard where they lived. The place was filled with green trees and lush grass. There were many rockery and strange rocks. There was a small bridge and flowing water. It really was a place with great scenery. The servant girl opened the courtyard door for Lin Feng, then handed the token to Lin Feng. She said, Young master, if you have any instructions, you can use the token to transmit your voice. This servant will be here soon. All right, you may leave. Lin Feng rewarded the servant girl with a few immortal stones. Immortal stones were a scarce resource in the undying realm. Moreover, they were in the Sin realm. Resources were scarce in the Sin realm. For many cultivators, a few immortal stones were already a considerable amount. Seeing Lin Feng being so generous, the servant girl thanked him profusely and quickly left. Lin Feng rested for a while. He planned to go and inquire about all kinds of information in the Sin realm. For example, information about the sinner's blood in the Sin realm, specific information about the sacred army, or some other information. Lin Feng opened the courtyard door. The door to the courtyard next to his opened as well. Then, a group of fairies walked out of the courtyard. Lin Feng looked at the group of fairies. Sure enough, they were all beautiful. They had good figures and good looks. The flowers were mesmerizing. It's you, bastard! Suddenly, one of the fairies glared at Lin Feng. Lin Feng looked at the celestial woman who was looking at him angrily. He couldn't help but be surprised. Chapter 4459. Right, it's her. Suddenly, Lin Feng's mind flashed as he recalled who the woman was. Wasn't she Sui Han from the fairy palace? He had met Sui Han once in the heavenly Wither City. Lin Feng recalled that it was Fatso who had been caught peeking at the fairy palace's female disciples bathing. He had then been hunted down by the fairy palace's female disciples. Later, Sui Han and the others had recognized Fatso in Sky Wither City and had wanted to cut Fatso into pieces. Lin Feng had helped Fatso explain the situation and cleared Fatso of suspicion. Of course, Sui Han was not convinced. She was certain that the wretched guy was Fatso. Even though they had not seen clearly who the wretched guy was, a woman's sixth sense was usually very accurate. Oh, isn't this Fairy Han? I didn't expect to meet you here. It seems that we are fated to meet. Lin Feng looked at Sui Han with a faint smile. This woman was very beautiful. Her figure and face were all top-notch. However, this woman had a fiery temper. Ordinary people would not be able to tame her temper. There was a saying that went, "Men and women of the pugilistic world will draw their swords." Sui Han's personality was like that. She would draw her sword and hack you to death without any hesitation. What about that damned fatso? Sui Han glared fiercely at Lin Feng as she asked. In her opinion, Lin Feng was Fatso's friend. Moreover, Lin Feng had inverted the truth and helped to clear Fatso's name. Therefore, Lin Feng was not a good person. Lin Feng said, "Why are you talking about that damned Fatso? Why don't we talk about our relationship? First, we met in Skywither City, then in Divine Monarch City. Don't you think this is fate? As the saying goes, fate is determined by the heavens. Since our fate has been determined by the heavens, we can't let this marriage down. This guy is so shameless." The group of beautiful female cultivators around Sui Han looked at Lin Feng with a contemptuous expression. But then those female cultivators looked at Lin Feng with gloating eyes. "You'll suffer for offending Sui Han." Sui Han took out her sword and flew towards Lin Feng. That furious look of his seemed as if he wanted to chop Lin Feng alive. How violent! Seeing Sui Han rushing over with her sword, Lin Feng was suddenly speechless. "Brat! Today, I'll let you know how powerful I am." Sui Han revealed a devilish smile, and then swung her sword towards Lin Feng. The sword radiance spat out, vibrating with a terrifying killing intent. "You're serious?" Lin Feng looked at Sui Han speechlessly. This girl's temper had not changed at all. Without saying a word, he drew his sword. "Of course I'm serious. Today, you won't be able to be a man." Sui Han's sword quickly slashed over. Lin Feng quickly retreated. He dodged Sui Han's sword that was slashing towards him. Sui Han's attacks were continuous. Since the first sword did not hit Lin Feng, the second sword slashed over. Lin Feng continued to dodge. Sui Han continued to attack. After dodging more than 10 sword slashes, Lin Feng found an opportunity. He quickly moved forward and came to Sui Han's side. Then, he grabbed Sui Han's wrist. Lin Feng used a bit of strength, and Sui Han's wrist hurt. The sword in her hand fell to the ground. Then, Lin Feng gently pulled her wrist. Sui Han directly pounced towards Lin Feng. Then, Lin Feng held her in his arms. The most important thing was that Sui Han's lips were touching Lin Feng's lips. Sui Han did not expect this scene at all. Sui Han's eyes widened. Then, her eyes spat out raging flames. Her first kiss disappeared in a daze just like that. The rest of the female cultivators from the fairy palace also widened their eyes. Then, they covered their mouths with their hands. They almost cried out in alarm. Although Sui Han had a fiery temper, her status in the fairy palace was actually very high. First of all, Sui Han was very talented and powerful. Of course, this was not the most important thing. The most important thing was that Sui Han's aunt was a grand elder of the fairy palace. Therefore, Sui Han's status was clearly different. Usually, who would dare to provoke Sui Han? But today, in the eyes of the female cultivators from the fairy palace, Lin Feng obviously played the matter out of hand. Female rogue! Female rogue! My first kiss! It was taken away by a female rogue just like that! I'm so sad! I'm so sad! After Lin Feng and Sui Han separated, he immediately shouted loudly. Sui Han hurriedly wiped her lips with her hand. She seemed to want to quickly wipe off Lin Feng's breath on her lips. He looked at Lin Feng, who was making a big fuss. Sui Han was so angry that she almost died. It was obviously her. She suffered a big loss because of Lin Feng. In the end. Instead, it was Lin Feng who cried thief. This infuriated Sui Han greatly. Moreover, Sui Han did not believe that Lin Feng still had his first kiss. In Sui Han's opinion, Lin Feng definitely did not know how many flowers and plants he touched. How could he still have his first kiss? I'll chop you to death. Sui Han picked up the sword on the ground and rushed towards Lin Feng. Her first kiss was lost just like that. And it was in front of so many people. How could Sui Han accept it? Sui Han did not want to think about anything now. She just wanted to cut Lin Feng into 8 pieces. Only in this way could she vent the hatred in her heart. But obviously, Lin Feng did not give Sui Han the chance. Lin Feng ran away and said, "Female rogue, you took my first kiss. I will not agree to be with you." Sui Han was so angry. The one who suffered a loss was obviously her, okay? This shameless person actually had the nerve to say that he suffered a loss? In the end, Sui Han was unable to catch up with Lin Feng. After getting rid of Sui Han, Lin Feng walked on the street. His mood was quite good. Teasing Sui Han was quite an interesting thing. Lin Feng came to the Divine Monarch City's black market. People came and went here. It was very lively. In the black market, one could often find out some secret things. Lin Feng asked around and found out that there was a place called Wentian Lu. It was said that the news was extremely fast. Here, as long as one could afford it, one could find out the general news. The reason why Wentian Lu's source of information was so powerful was because Wentian Lu was an organization that spread all over the Undying Realm. This organization was a neutral organization. They did not participate in any power struggle. They only sought wealth. Lin Feng came to Wentian Lu. Then, a young servant girl walked towards Lin Feng. This young servant girl bowed to Lin Feng. Then she asked, "Young master, please follow me." Lin Feng nodded. Following behind the maidservant, he discovered that everyone who came to Heavenly Savvy Tower was led by a maidservant into the backyard. The backyard was divided into many rooms. Lin Feng was brought into a room. The room was densely covered with restrictions. No matter what the people inside were talking about, the people outside would not be able to find out. Wentian Lu's confidentiality was extremely sufficient. No wonder Wentian Lu could spread all over the Undying Realm. Wentian Lu's service was simply impossible to find any fault with. Chapter 4460. After Lin Feng took his seat, a maidservant came forward to pour tea for Lin Feng. The maidservant who led Lin Feng and bowed to Lin Feng and said, "Young master, please wait for a moment. This servant will inform the deacon to come over." "Go," Lin Feng said. The maidservant then left. Lin Feng took a sip of tea. Then, he waited for the other party to arrive. Not long after, a female cultivator walked in. This female cultivator was wearing a red cheongsam with a slit on her left leg that extended all the way to her thigh. One could vaguely see her snow-white thigh. She was tall and slender. Her figure was enchanting. Her face was beautiful. Her lips were fiery red. Her eyes were like silk. She was so beautiful that it was suffocating. She was a woman who could charm all living things. As the saying went, a glance and a smile could bring forth 100 charms. This was exactly the kind of woman she was. Even though Lin Feng was used to seeing all kinds of beauties, he couldn't help but sigh in amazement when he saw the beauty in front of him. This kind of beauty was simply like poison. Fatal. However, she was very attractive. "Young master, I've kept you waiting. Please forgive me." The charming woman bowed slightly to Lin Feng. Lin Feng said, "Not at all. Fairy, there's no need to be so courteous." Then, the woman smiled and sat beside Lin Feng. She said, "My surname is Su, and my name is Ingran." "I've never asked for young master's name," Lin Feng said. "My surname is Lin, and my name is Feng." "So it's Lin Gongzi. Nice to meet you." "Lin Gongzi, what information do you wish to inquire about this time?" Su Ingran looked at Lin Feng with interest. "I wonder if there's any information about the Sin's bloodline in Heavenly News Tower?" Lin Feng asked. "Sinner's bloodline? This is a taboo. If young master is from the Heavenly Court, then the Heavenly Court has its own channels to inquire about this information. Our Heavenly Tower's information will not be sold to the Heavenly Court. If young master is not from the heavenly court, then I advise young master not to inquire about it, lest you get into trouble, Suinran said. She didn't say that Wen Tianlu didn't have any information about the sinner's bloodline. It seemed that Wen Tianlu really did have some information about the sinner's bloodline, but this information wasn't useful. Lin Feng didn't know. Perhaps it would be useful. Perhaps it would be useless. But he had to wait until he heard from Su Yinran before he could be sure. However, what surprised Lin Feng was that Su Yinran actually said that Heavenly Tower's information wasn't sold to the Heavenly Court. Could it be that Wen Tianlu had an old grudge with the Heavenly Court? If that was the case, Wen Tianlu would be a little too awesome. Despite having an old grudge with the Heavenly Court, they were still able to spread throughout the Undying Realm. It was truly extraordinary. Unless Wen Tianlu had a very deep background. The only background that could make the Heavenly Court wary was the Heaven Realm. Could it be that there was a force from the Heaven Realm behind Wen Tianlu? Although it was just a simple sentence, Lin Feng was able to deduce a lot of things from Su Yinran's words. Lin Feng said, "I'm not a cultivator of the Heavenly Court. I'm a rogue cultivator, so you can sell the information to me, and I'm not afraid of causing trouble." Su Yinran shook her head. "We usually only sell information about the sinner's bloodline to acquaintances. But young master, this is your first time coming to our Wen Tianlu," Lin Feng said. "Does fairy mean that you can't sell information about the sinner's bloodline to me? Why does young master want to know about the sinner's bloodline?" Su Yinran suddenly asked. Lin Feng frowned slightly. Lin Feng felt that Su Yinran was asking too many questions. Moreover, he felt that Su Yinran was a little strange. Why did she ask so much? Did it have anything to do with you? However, Lin Feng naturally couldn't question Su Yinran. After all, the information was in Wen Tianlu's hands. If he questioned Su Yinran didn't have to sell the information to him. If she really did that, he couldn't do anything to Su Yinran. Of course, Lin Feng was very clear about that. Lin Feng said, "I'm curious, is this reason good enough?" Su Yinran gave Lin Feng a deep look and said, "The sinner's bloodline has always been under heavy attack. About 100 years ago, the Sacred Army discovered a hidden spatial enchantment. The Sacred Heavenly King personally led an army and surrounded the spatial enchantment. The sinner's bloodline inside was slaughtered. They did it very secretly, so not many people in the outside world know about it. After that tragedy, the sinner's bloodline was basically impossible to find in the sinful domain. Perhaps there are still some fish that escaped the net, but they must have scattered and hidden in various places. They won't easily show themselves." Lin Feng frowned. He never thought that such a tragedy would happen more than 100 years ago. This caused Lin Feng to have a deep killing intent towards the Sacred Heavenly King. But Lin Feng also knew that the Sacred Heavenly King was too powerful. As the commander of an army of tens of millions of cultivators, as one of the most capable and new generals of the Heavenly Emperor, the Sacred Heavenly King was definitely an existence that no one dared to provoke. At the very least, with Lin Feng's current strength, he still couldn't provoke the Sacred Heavenly King. "Could it be that we can't find the sinner's bloodline anymore?" Lin Feng sighed. The fox grieves for the rabbit's death. Perhaps that was Lin Feng's current state of mind. Because in the eyes of many, Lin Feng was also a sinner's bloodline. And it was the number one sinner's bloodline. Who knows? "I heard that the sinner's bloodline was hidden in the northeast. These years, that area has been relatively peaceful," Su Yinran said. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. Was Su Yinran hinting to him that there might be a sinner's bloodline in the northeast of the sinful domain? The Sacred Army is stationed in the sinful domain. How strong is the Sacred Army? Lin Feng asked. Su Yinran said, "This question of yours is rather difficult to answer. This is a military secret. If it were to be leaked, the consequences would be unimaginable. So, Wen Tianlu actually has this information?" Lin Feng narrowed his eyes. "Of course." Su Yinran nodded. "What if I insist on knowing?" Lin Feng asked. Su Yinran said, That information is worth 500,000 immortal stones. If you want to continue asking, then you can. I'm afraid you'll have to pay an even higher price. First, check if you have enough immortal stones in your pocket. Lin Feng laughed. Even if I ask until tomorrow, I won't be able to spend all the immortal stones in my pocket. Su Yinran laughed. Young master is truly rich. Su Yinran smiled, then took out a jade tube. She said, "This contains all the information about the Sacred Army, including the military distribution maps of the various places where they are stationed. It's worth 1,500,000 immortal stones." Of course, that's not a problem. Lin Feng flicked his finger, and 2,000,000 immortal stones flew out. He said, "Including the 500,000 from before, this is 2,000,000 immortal stones. Fairy, please check it." Su Yinran smiled and accepted the immortal stones. Lin Feng took the jade tube and inspected it with his godly awareness. He started reading the contents of the jade tube. Chapter 4461. Lin Feng was astonished when he sensed it. The Sacred Army's strength was not to be underestimated. Sacred Army Commander, Sacred Heavenly King, Late Stage Immemorial Era Expert, True Immortal Realm. Sacred Army's 9 Deputy Commanders. First Deputy Commander, Shinzong Shan, Sacred Heavenly King's eldest son. Second Deputy Commander, Shinzong Hun, Sacred Heavenly King's second son. Third Deputy Commander, Shinzong Tian, Sacred Heavenly King's fourth son. Fourth Deputy Commander, Demon Lord of 10,000 Demons. Fifth Deputy Commander, Elder Black Wind. Sixth Deputy Commander, Lady Demon Snake. Seventh Deputy Commander, White Bone Azura King. Eighth Deputy Commander, Seven-Eyed Jade Blood Toad. Ninth Deputy Commander, Broken Winged Angel. The ranking of the 9 Deputy Legion Commanders was not based on their strength. Instead, they were ranked according to their contributions. The more contributions one made, the higher one's ranking would be among the 9 Deputy Commanders. These 9 Deputy Commanders. They were all quasi-true immortals. However, although quasi-true immortal realm and true immortal realm were only separated by a thin line, the difference was like heaven and earth. Some people were immersed in this realm for tens of millions of years and were unable to break through. Quasi-true immortal realm, to put it nicely, was a quasi-true immortal. To put it crudely, they were still mortals. Those who did not enter true immortal were mortals. Quasi-true immortal realm, even if it was only a step away from true immortal realm, they still could not escape the fate of being mortals. Only those who entered true immortal realm were immortals, transcending mortality and entering immortality. Of course, although quasi-true immortal realm could not be compared to true immortal realm, but compared to cultivators of other realms. A powerful being at the quasi-true immortal state was a high and mighty existence. They were like gods, so powerful that it made people feel suffocated. And this level of existence might be able to break through at any time. Therefore, quasi-true immortal realm experts were extremely terrifying. Quasi-true immortal realm experts rarely moved outside. Those experts who moved outside quasi-true immortal realm was basically the peak of the realm. Other than these 9 quasi-true immortals, in the Sacred Army, there were 36 great commanders. Every great commander. They were all sky immortal realm experts. In addition, there were even more earth immortal, human immortal, and loose immortal experts. Although the current immortal realm to the heavens. But no matter how divided the vassals were, the nominal ruler of the undying realm was still the heavenly emperor. Therefore, the number of experts who sided with the heavenly court was also the highest. And these experts were all assigned to the various heavenly kings. Therefore, the strength of these heavenly kings was extremely terrifying. The more Lin Feng looked, the more shocked he became. After reading the introduction in the Jade Tube, Lin Feng realized that his understanding of the Sacred Army was only the tip of the iceberg. The more you know, the more you know. The more he thought about it, the more shocked and incredulous he became. It was even more inconceivable. The contents recorded in the Jade Tube were indeed very detailed. That information included the specific location of the Sacred Legion's cultivator army. Information such as who the top-notch experts in charge of each place were, and so on, were recorded in it. After Lin Feng memorized the contents of the jade tube, he put it away. Lin Gongzi, this 1,500,000 immortal stones is worth it, right? Suyin Ran asked with a smile. Lin Feng smiled and said, It's worth it. Of course it was worth it. Right. Fairy, do you know where the Wei River Lakeside is? Shinnong's daughter had asked Lin Feng to go to the Wei River Lakeside to see if her clansmen were still there. However, Lin Feng didn't know where the Wei River Lakeside was. Still, Lin Feng guessed that Suyin Ran should know. After all, Wen Tianlu was extremely well informed. It seemed like there was nothing Wen Tianlu didn't know. The Wei River Lakeside is a place in the central continent, but I heard that it was where the Shinnong clansmen lived. Later on, the Shinnong clan was destroyed by the Heavenly Court, Suyin Ran said. The Shinnong clan was destroyed as well? Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. Shinnong, one of the 3 sovereigns of the human race. In the past, he had tasted all kinds of herbs. He had recorded the effects of all kinds of herbs. The living beings of this epoch had benefited from Shinnong's great achievements. They knew the various effects of all kinds of herbs. The herbs here referred to all kinds of spiritual herbs. Shinnong had promoted the development of this epoch and made great contributions to it. Unfortunately, Shinnong, his clan. In the end, they had ended up in such a miserable state. It was sad and lamentable. After hearing about Shinnong, Lin Feng's heart sank. Then, Lin Feng asked Suyin Ran for more information. Of course. Suyin Ran didn't charge for all information. She charged a fee for some of the secret information. But if it wasn't especially secret, Suyin Ran wouldn't charge for it. After Lin Feng found out some of the things he wanted to know, he bid farewell and left. After Lin Feng left, Suyin Ran frowned slightly. Blood uncle! Suyin Ran said. Swoosh! In the void, a light flashed, and an old man in a blood-red robe appeared. Young mistress! Do you have any orders? The old man called Blood Uncle asked. This old man was hidden in the void, and Lin Feng didn't notice him. After all, Lin Feng cultivated the Tao of space, and his use of space had reached a rather profound level. But Lin Feng didn't notice this old man, which was enough to show how powerful this old man's cultivation was. I have a feeling that this Lin Feng seems to be a descendant of the sinner's blood, Suyin Ran said with narrowed eyes. Blood Uncle's expression didn't change, and he didn't interrupt. He just stood there and listened quietly. Investigate his background and report to me as soon as possible, Suyin Ran said. Yes. This old servant will go now, Blood Uncle said, and then his body gradually faded away. After leaving the black market, Lin Feng went back to his residence. He planned to rest for the night. He headed northwest to see if he could find a descendant of Emperor Shun. Emperor Shun, one of the 5 emperors. According to the classic of mountains and seas, Emperor Shun's surname was Xia, his name was Chonghua, and his courtesy name was Jun. Emperor Shun was one of the greatest emperors in human history. It was rumored that he was the ancestor of human morality. Since ancient times, many powerful races had already been wiped out. But the human race had never been destroyed. The human race's vitality was the most powerful. This had a lot to do with Emperor Shun. Emperor Shun was the monarch of morality. He was also the one who set the rules of human morality. For example, the etiquette between ruler and vassal, the etiquette between father and son, the 3 obedience and 4 virtues, and so on were all passed down from Emperor Shun. Over time, the human race learned to be polite. This also formed a cultural vein. So even now, the human race still attached great importance to etiquette. The formation of a cultural vein helped the human race through disaster after disaster. The human race had a long history, and countless factions had been destroyed. But the human race was still the largest race in the universe. Chapter 4462. There were so many races in the universe, but the human race was still the largest race. Of course, if one really wanted to talk about it, the human race was not only the largest race, but also the most powerful race. Because the forces that ruled the heaven realm and the undying realm were the celestial race and the immortal race. They also belonged to the human race, even if they didn't admit that they belonged to the human race. But the bloodline inheritance couldn't be changed. If it was an ordinary human race, their strength couldn't be compared to other races. This was also the main reason why the human race was looked down upon by other races. Lin Feng really wanted to find the descendants of Emperor Shun. If he could really find the descendants of Emperor Shun, that would definitely be an exciting moment. At this moment, Lin Feng heard venting sounds coming from afar. He walked forward and asked around before he found out. The cultivators of the Sacred Army had brought over a completed statue. Now, the cultivators of the Sacred Army were going to erect the statue in the square, to replace the statue of Divine Lord Xianyuan. Lin Feng had already heard about this before. When he just entered the city, he saw the cultivators of the Sacred Army destroy the statue of Divine Lord Xianyuan. Lin Feng was very angry. But there was nothing he could do. Lin Feng came to the Divine Lord's city for important matters. So, he couldn't show up. Even if he did, it would be useless. Because at that time, the statue of Divine Lord Xianyuan had already been destroyed. These people really deserve to die. They destroyed the statue of Divine Lord Xianyuan. They will suffer retribution. That's right. These people will definitely die a horrible death. Many people cursed. The natives of the Divine Lord city had special feelings for the statue of Divine Lord Xianyuan. However, they didn't have the ability to stop the cultivators of the Sacred Army from destroying the statue of Divine Lord Xianyuan. At most, they could only curse the other party and vent the anger in their hearts. Many people walked towards the square. Lin Feng also walked towards the square. He was full of anger, and his heart was filled with killing intent. Divine Lord Xianyuan was the descendant of Great Emperor Xianyuan. Great Emperor Xianyuan had contributed a lot to this era. Now Great Emperor Xuanyuan's bloodline had become sinner's blood. Even Divine Lord Xuanyuan's statue was destroyed. It was really too infuriating. When Lin Feng arrived, he saw a new statue. This statue was of a tall and majestic old man. This old man should be the Holy Heavenly King. An expert from the immemorial era. A true immortal expert. This was the pinnacle existence of the undying realm. The Divine Heavenly King rarely appeared. The last time he appeared was when he led his army to destroy the space created by the sinner's blood descendants. Following which, the Divine Heavenly King went into seclusion again. Experts at their level, unless something very important happened. Or else, they would not appear at all. A large number of cultivators gathered in the square, and they all looked at the Divine Heavenly King's statue. Some of these cultivators were foreign cultivators. As for these foreign cultivators, they were just here to watch the show. Most of the cultivators were local residents of the Divine Monarch City. Because the statue of Emperor God Xianyuan still had divinity. It had always been protecting Divine Monarch City, so the cultivators of Divine Monarch City had deep feelings for Divine Monarch Xianyuan's statue. Right now, everyone was looking at the Divine Heavenly King's statue with boundless anger. There were many cultivators standing in front of the Divine Heavenly King's statue. They were all cultivators of the Sacred Army. The leader was a young and handsome young master. That young master was none other than Divine Heavenly King. He was Divine Sex Son of Heaven, Divine Flame Saint. The order to destroy Emperor God Xianyuan's statue and replace it with the Divine Heavenly King's statue was given by this guy. Therefore, many people looked at Divine Flame Saint with murderous eyes. But Divine Flame Saint was too powerful, so no one dared to attack him. Divine Flame Saint also knew that many people were dissatisfied with him. But Divine Flame Saint did not care at all. He sneered and said, "If you worship my grandfather, you will definitely receive the protection of my grandfather, the Divine Heavenly King. And that Emperor God Xianyuan is the dirtiest sinner's blood descendant. What qualifications does he have to be worshipped by everyone? I heard that some people even privately carved Emperor God Xian Yuan's statue in their homes, and then worshipped it in their own homes. Here, I advise everyone, it's best to quickly destroy Emperor God Xian Yuan's statue. If I find out that someone secretly worships Emperor God Xian Yuan, they will be seen as colluding with the sinner's blood descendant. At that time, the whole family will be executed. After hearing Xing Yanqing's words, the square was in an uproar. Many people were extremely dissatisfied. But at this moment, they were angry and afraid. Divine Army. They could not afford to offend them. Lin Feng looked at Divine Flame Saint indifferently. Then he left. He did not go too far. He found a restaurant, and ordered some wine and dishes. Then he tasted the wine in his cup alone. But Lin Feng's mind was not on the wine. Late at night, Lin Feng left the restaurant. He walked towards the square. Even though it was late at night, there were still many pedestrians on the street. Because an ancient city like Divine Monarch City was almost a city that never slept. Such an ancient city had always been very lively. It was naturally the same today. There were also some people on the square. Many people were pointing at the Divine Heavenly King's statue. Beside the Divine Heavenly King's statue, there were guards guarding the Divine Heavenly King's statue. A cultivator in a black robe walked over. This black-robed cultivator was wearing a bamboo hat. His appearance could not be seen clearly. The black-robed cultivator was none other than Lin Feng. "Halt!" The guard captain who was guarding the Divine Heavenly King's statue coldly shouted. Lin Feng did not stop. He continued to walk towards the Divine Heavenly King's statue step by step. "You're courting death." The guard captain's expression suddenly sank. He waved his hand. His subordinates were about to rush out and kill Lin Feng. At this moment, a terrifying aura spread out from Lin Feng's body. Those people were all frozen in place. This situation doesn't seem right. Many cultivators on the square felt that something was wrong. Everyone looked at Lin Feng. Swish! With a flash of light, the black dragon sword appeared. "Divine Heavenly King! Die!" Lin Feng's cold voice came out. His voice entered everyone's ears. Everyone was horrified. Divine Heavenly King. One of the 18 Heavenly Kings under the Heavenly Emperor. An army of 1,000,000 cultivators. And a terrifying true immortal realm cultivator. What kind of high and mighty existence was that? Who would dare to offend such an existence? But now, someone actually dared to say that the Divine Heavenly King should die. Lin Feng jumped up. The black dragon sword slashed towards the Divine Heavenly King's statue's neck. The Divine Heavenly King's statue emitted a divine light in an attempt to block Lin Feng's attack. But it did not succeed. Lin Feng's attack directly chopped off the Divine Heavenly King's head. A loud explosion came out. The Divine Heavenly King's head that was chopped off fell to the ground. It directly split into pieces. Everyone looked at this scene in disbelief. Someone actually destroyed the Divine Heavenly King's statue. Chapter 4463. Don't let that brat escape. We must capture him alive. That's right. We definitely can't let that brat go. Capture that brat and hand him over to the young master. The cultivators of the Sacred Legion stationed on the city wall in the distance roared in anger. Their killing intent soared to the sky. They were stationed not far away from the square. Lin Feng actually dared to destroy the Divine Heavenly King's statue. And he even said that the Divine Heavenly King should be killed. He didn't put them in his eyes at all. These people were naturally furious. Their killing intent soared to the sky, wishing they could cut Lin Feng into pieces. So the cultivators of the Sacred Legion stationed on the city wall all flew towards the square. They wanted to capture Lin Feng. Lin Feng indifferently glanced at them. Then he walked towards the distance. Lin Feng instantly disappeared into the darkness. And after he left, the cultivators of the Sacred Legion who were guarding the statue all sat down on the ground. Because they knew. This time, the Divine Heavenly King's statue was destroyed. They had committed a dereliction of duty. They definitely wouldn't have a good ending. Although, this matter didn't have much to do with them. After all, the person who attacked was too terrifying, not someone they could fight against. But the Divine Flame Saint definitely wouldn't listen to their explanation. So these cultivators glanced at each other. They thought of running away. Running away was also death. Not running away was also death. Since that was the case, it was better to run away. Maybe they could escape? After escaping, they could change their names. They could still live a carefree life. The only pity was that they couldn't stay in the Sacred Legion. Staying in the Sacred Legion, no matter where they went, they would be high up. However, being able to keep their lives was already an extremely lucky thing. The cultivators on the city wall quickly chased after them. But they couldn't find Lin Feng. Lin Feng had already left. He deliberately hid his real body. How could it be easy for others to find him? When Lin Feng returned to his residence, it was already a complete mess outside. The Divine Heavenly King's statue had just been built. So someone destroyed the Divine Heavenly King's statue. This wasn't a small matter. Wasn't this provoking the Divine Heavenly King? Soon, Xinyanxing found out about this. Divine Flame Saint flew into a rage. His killing intent was monstrous. Someone actually dared to destroy the statue of his grandfather, the Divine Heavenly King. This was a declaration of war against the Sacred Legion. Xinyanxing ordered the army to lock down Divine Monarch City. Then, he would thoroughly investigate the culprit. Report. Young Master, the guards guarding the Heavenly King's statue have all fled, but they have been captured. What should we do with them? A guard came in and reported to Divine Flame Saint. Death by 1,000 cuts, Xinyanxing said coldly. He had always been a vicious and merciless person. He killed without batting an eyelid. Even though Divine Flame Saint knew about it. The guards were certain that they couldn't stop the attacker. But so what? Divine Flame Saint was furious. He wanted to kill someone. As for those guards, they could only blame themselves for being unlucky. Lin Feng didn't know that those guards had been executed by Divine Flame Saint. Even if he knew, he wouldn't feel sorry for those people. Those people deserved to die. As the saying goes, a pitiful person must have a hateful side. That was the logic. Those people were very hateful. Those people all deserved to die. So, they were dead. The world had lost more than a dozen executioners whose hands were stained with the blood of innocent people. It was really satisfying. Lin Feng came to the entrance of the courtyard. Just as he was about to enter, suddenly, Lin Feng's heart trembled slightly. This was because he sensed a dangerous aura approaching. Heaven patching technique. Lin Feng didn't even think about it. He immediately used the heaven patching technique. He disappeared from where he stood. The moment Lin Feng disappeared, a cold sword pierced through the void. It stabbed towards the place where Lin Feng was originally standing. Then, a woman appeared. This woman was none other than Sui Han. Sui Han didn't succeed in her sneak attack and seemed to be rather annoyed. Lin Feng said, "Little Henin, what are you doing? Are you trying to murder your husband? I'm going to chop you into minced meat." Sui Han looked at Lin Feng fiercely. Lin Feng said, "Little Henin, my first kiss was taken away by you, yet you treat me like this. How can you be so cruel?" It was better not to mention this matter. When Lin Feng mentioned this matter, Sui Han immediately exploded. She said angrily, "You bastard, you big bastard! Today, it's either you or me!" As her voice fell, Sui Han had already rushed over. Sui Han was originally beautiful, and now she was charging over with a sword in her hand. It was as if a fairy was charging over with a sword. Sui Han's sword was actually very terrifying. She used a sword Dao divine ability. This sword Dao divine ability was called 9 Swords of Flying Immortals. As the saying goes, a person was like a fairy dancing in the 9 heavens. A sword came from the west to kill immortals and demons. The 9 swords moved the mountains and rivers. 1 person and 1 sword broke the 9 heavens. Feeling Sui Han's terrifying sword, Lin Feng's face couldn't help but reveal an incomparably astonished expression. Because the power of Sui Han's sword was really powerful. Lin Feng felt that Sui Han should have broken through to the scattered immortal realm by now. She herself was a proud daughter of heaven. Her talent was strong, coupled with the powerful sword Dao divine ability that she used. Therefore, Sui Han's sword. It was indeed very terrifying. However, she wanted to rely on this sword to kill Lin Feng. It was still too unrealistic. In the face of such a terrifying sword attack, Lin Feng leaped out. His entire person turned into a peerless sword light. Lin Feng used the man descending from the heavens, a sword that could kill immortals. This divine ability resisted Sui Han's attack. Clang! The two sides suddenly collided. Sui Han was instantly sent flying by Lin Feng's sword chi. And Lin Feng's sword chi flew to Sui Han's side. Then he turned back into his original body. Lin Feng used runes to seal Sui Han. Then he hugged Sui Han's small waist. You! After being hugged by Lin Feng, Sui Han was so scared that her pretty face turned pale. She didn't expect that she would be defeated so easily under the situation where she used all her strength. Losing was nothing. If she couldn't beat Lin Feng, she could run away. But Lin Feng didn't even give her a chance to escape. This made Sui Han want to cry, but no tears came out. Sui Han looked at Lin Feng in horror. She hoped that Lin Feng would be lenient and let her go. But when she saw that Lin Feng's eyes were fixedly staring at her beautiful body, she couldn't help but feel embarrassed. Sui Han was scared. This bastard, he wouldn't do something worse than a beast to her, right? Sui Han sneak attacked. In fact, Lin Feng was a little angry. Although he couldn't really do such a thing to Sui Han, Lin Feng felt that he needed to teach Sui Han a lesson. Lin Feng was about to carry Sui Han back to the courtyard. Suddenly, Lin Feng discovered that not far away, there was a person. He didn't even know when the other party appeared. This made Lin Feng's heart tremble slightly. P.S. I originally wanted to release 20 chapters, but it's almost midnight now. I only managed to write the 18th chapter. Old Mantu can't take it anymore. I'll release the 18th chapter today. The 2 chapters that I owe will be added later. Seeing that it's not easy for Old Mantu to release the 18th chapter, let's vote for him. Chapter 4464. Muyasi! Lin Feng was shocked when he saw the person's face clearly. It was actually Muyasi. She was the holy maiden of the fairy palace and Sui Han's senior sister. Her cultivation was definitely at the top among the younger generation of the fairy palace. She was very mysterious and powerful. She rarely made a move, but everyone knew how terrifying this woman was. Moreover, Muyasi was one of the top 10 beauties in the undying world. There might be some women who didn't lose to Muyasi in terms of looks. However, in terms of temperament, there was no way they could be compared to Muyasi. Muyasi's temperament was unforgettable. Originally, Lin Feng didn't see Muyasi, so he thought that she wasn't with Sui Han and the rest. If Muyasi was there, she would definitely restrain Sui Han. How could she allow Sui Han to mess around? Senior sister, save me! This bastard is bullying me! After seeing Muyasi, Sui Han's confidence was boosted. She yelled loudly. She was on very good terms with Muyasi, so she knew how powerful the latter's cultivation was. Now, Sui Han was even thinking of asking her senior sister to make a move later. Then, she would teach Lin Feng a lesson. Otherwise, how could she vent the hatred in her heart? Lin Gongzi, did Han offend you again? Muyasi looked at Lin Feng and asked. Lin Feng smiled and said, I'm just joking with little Hanin. Haha. Lin Feng laughed dryly and then removed the restriction on Sui Han. Sui Han hurriedly rushed toward Muyasi. Senior sister, you came back just in time. If you were a step later, I would have been humiliated by this evil thief. Sui Han began to accuse Lin Feng of his evil deeds. Then she said, Senior sister, help me teach this bastard a lesson. If you don't teach him a lesson, he will really think that the people of the fairy palace are easy to bully. Little Han Han, how can you distort the truth and speak ill of me? It was clearly you who hid in the dark to sneak attack me. If it wasn't for my alertness, I would have already died under your sword just now. Lin Feng curled his lips and said. Sui Han quibbled. Who attacked you? I'm dealing with you fair and square, you stinking scoundrel. If it's possible, I don't mind chopping you to death. Lin Feng was speechless. Sui Han was really beautiful. However, her personality was truly that of a tigress. Muyasi said. This matter is a misunderstanding. I apologize to Lin Gongzi on behalf of my junior sister. I hope that Lin Gongzi can forgive her this time. I'll definitely restrain her in the future. Naturally, Sui Han was indignant after hearing Muyasi's words. It was obviously her first kiss, but it was taken away by this bastard. Was it wrong for him to seek revenge? Now, he was the one who wasn't. Sui Han pouted her pink lips, looking furious. The flames in her heart were burning fiercely. However, she didn't dare to vent her anger on Muyasi. So, Sui Han could only glare at Lin Feng angrily. Right now, she couldn't wait to chop Lin Feng into pieces. Lin Feng said, Actually, I'm also at fault for this matter. I shouldn't only blame Yihan. Today, I had some misunderstandings with Yihan, so she came to find trouble with me. Sui Han looked at Lin Feng in surprise. She originally thought that Lin Feng would gloat over her misfortune. However, who would have thought that Lin Feng didn't do that and instead exonerated her? However, Sui Han quickly sneered. Do you think I can forgive you just because of this? No way, Muyasi said. Lin Gongzi is magnanimous. Yasi admires you. She paused. Muyasi continued. I didn't expect to meet Lin Gongzi here. I wonder why Lin Gongzi came to Sin Domain? Muyasi was very good at talking. She successfully diverted the topic to something else. Sui Han couldn't help but listen attentively. Because she knew some things. Back in Xingling City, Lin Feng and Fatso were wanted. Later on, Lin Feng disappeared without a trace. When he reappeared, he had already arrived at Sin Domain. She didn't know how many things had happened. Most people weren't willing to come to Sin Domain. Therefore, Lin Feng's appearance in Sin Domain was very strange to Sui Han. Lin Feng said, I want to see what Sin Domain's mountains and rivers are like. Sui Han pursed her lips. What a lame reason! Obviously, Sui Han knew that Lin Feng wasn't telling the truth. Muyasi also knew this. It seemed that Lin Feng didn't want to reveal the purpose of this trip. Muyasi didn't continue asking. She said, The day after tomorrow, someone will take out the Sinner's Stone to sell. Is Lin Gongzi interested in taking a look? What's a Sinner's Stone? Lin Feng asked, puzzled. Muyasi said, It's a special kind of immortal stone that absorbs the blood essence of sinners and turns into a Sinner's Stone. This is an immortal stone unique to Sin Domain. It's very valuable. Lin Feng's face sank slightly when he heard her explanation. Countless descendants of sinners had died in Sin Domain. It was no wonder that only Sin Domain could produce Sinner's Stone. There were other places. It was indeed very difficult for Sin Domain to have such conditions. This made Lin Feng very angry. The heavenly court was hateful. If not for them, how could so many people have died so tragically? All right, I'll go with you when the time comes, Lin Feng said. Muyasi nodded and said goodbye to Lin Feng. Sui Han snorted coldly at Lin Feng and then glared fiercely at Lin Feng before turning around and walking back to her residence with Muyasi. This little girl. She's really. Lin Feng rolled his eyes and finally found a word to describe Sui Han. She was unruly and cute. Lin Feng did not stay outside. He also returned to his residence. At this moment, the Divine Monarch's city was not calm. Because the Divine Heavenly King's statue was beheaded on the first day it was erected. Moreover, that person said that the Divine Heavenly King should be killed. What a disgraceful statement. Xin Yanqing was the grandson of the Divine Heavenly King. He had completely gone berserk. He ordered the cultivators of the sacred army to search door to door and not let go of anyone suspicious. The divine monarch city was filled with complaints. The next day, there were even cultivators of the sacred army who came to Lin Feng's inn to search for suspicious people. However, they were sent away by the owner of the inn with immortal stones. For such a high-end inn, the owner's identity was also very extraordinary. After the cultivators of the sacred army received benefits, naturally, they would not offend the owner of the inn. The cultivators of the sacred army caught some suspicious people. However, they were only feudal. After some investigation, they found that there was no problem with those people at all. The culprit, Lin Feng, was currently riding a beast carriage with Mu Yasi and Su Yihan towards the Heaven Saint Pavilion where the trade fair was held. Chapter 4465. The beast carriage walked on the wide street. Mu Yasi sat on the main seat opposite the beast carriage. Lin Feng sat on the right, while Su Yihan sat on the left. Lin Feng could see Su Yihan when he looked up. Su Yihan could also see Lin Feng when she looked up. Of course, Su Yihan didn't look at Lin Feng nicely. From time to time, she would glare at Lin Feng fiercely. That gaze was really sharp. Along the way, Lin Feng chatted with Mu Yasi intermittently. An hour later, they arrived at the Heaven Saint Pavilion where the trade fair was held. The Heaven Saint Pavilion was an extremely high-class gathering place. It was said to be a private gathering place. It had a very deep background. This time, quite a few experts had come for the Blood Sin Stones. The Sin Blood Stone was very extraordinary. The blood of the Sin Blood had completely fused with the Immortal Stone. Then, it formed a very special energy. Of course, every kind of Sin Blood Stone was different. The effect was also completely different. After Lin Feng and the other two arrived, a servant girl led them to the living room. When the three of them arrived, there were already 40 to 50 cultivators sitting there. Those people's auras were very powerful. Their cultivations were obviously very high. Many of them were cultivators who had rushed over from other domains after receiving the news. Mu Yasi's arrival attracted many people's attention. Such a peerless beauty. No matter where she went, she would attract attention. There were also people who looked at Su Yihan. When it was quiet, she was also very beautiful. Then, everyone looked at Lin Feng. Many people muttered in their hearts. Who was this kid? He actually appeared with two great beauties. Was he enjoying the happiness of two wives? It really made people envious. Lin Feng and the other two found a place to sit down. Then, everyone began to wait for the trade fair to begin. There were still people arriving. Not long after, Xin Yanxing appeared. The appearance of Xin Yanxing caused quite a stir. As the grandson of the divine heavenly king, Xin Yanxing's identity was clearly somewhat extraordinary. Even the experts from the top families were shocked when they saw godly flame saint. They would also be very polite. Many people came forward to greet divine flame saint. However, divine flame saint only nodded his head slightly with a haughty attitude. His attitude aroused the displeasure of some powerhouses. After all, those experts were of high status and took the initiative to greet Divine Flame Saint. However, Divine Flame Saint still maintained a high and mighty attitude. Wasn't this a little too disrespectful? However, those experts didn't really get angry at Divine Flame Saint. Perhaps they did not care about Divine Flame Saint at all. However, the existence behind Divine Flame Saint was the Divine Heavenly King. As for Xin Yanxing, he didn't even try to guess what those people were thinking. Moreover, these cultivators were nothing in Divine Flame Saint's eyes. After all, Divine Flame's sacred capital had encountered many quasi-true immortals in the Sacred Legion. Xin Yanxing's father, Xin Zongtian, was also a quasi-true immortal expert. His grandfather, Divine Heavenly King, was even a true immortal expert. As for the cultivators before him, it was hard to say if there were any quasi-true immortal experts. Naturally, Divine Flame Saint had a high and mighty attitude. After Xin Yanxing took his seat, more and more people arrived. Then he found a place to sit down. In the end, about 200 people came. All of them were experts. With so many experts gathered together, even if they didn't deliberately release their aura, the aura of so many experts still formed a special magnetic field. In the void, the shadow of a giant dragon vaguely condensed. That giant dragon was condensed from the chi and blood of a group of experts. "Sorry to keep you waiting. I hope everyone can forgive me." At this moment, a voice sounded. Then, more than a dozen cultivators walked out of the inner hall. A middle-aged cultivator in the lead cupped his fists and said. Naturally, his words were just out of politeness. The smile on his face didn't show any sign of apology at all. Many people also cupped their fists in response to this cultivator. Because this cultivator's identity was extremely extraordinary. He was the pavilion master of the Heaven Saint Pavilion, Zhang Sunwudi. This name did sound a little pretentious. Whether he could be invincible or not was unknown. However, Zhang Sunwudi's methods were indeed extraordinary. It was said that he had a good relationship with many top experts. Of course, the most important thing was that it was rumored that Zhang Sunwudi had a relationship with a true immortal expert. Even when Shen Yanxing led an army to guard the Divine Lord's city. His father, Shen Zongtian, also warned Shen Yanxing not to offend Zhang Sunwudi. Shen Yanxing was indeed incomparably arrogant, condescending, and ruthless. However, this guy had a special characteristic, and that was that he didn't easily offend powerful people. To put it bluntly, Shen Yanxing liked to find soft persimmons to bully. Zhang Sunwudi beckoned the cultivators around him to take a seat. Then, Zhang Sunwudi said, "The Sinner's Blood Stones aren't something I'm selling. Some of my friends got a batch of Sinner's Blood Stones by chance. My friends asked me to sell the Sinner's Blood Stones, so I spread the news. I'm very gratified to see everyone here today. I'm sure everyone doesn't want to listen to my nonsense. Next, let's directly enter the transaction." At this point, Zhang Sunwudi looked at an old man. That old man was the one who had just appeared here with Zhang Sunwudi. He should be the friend that Zhang Sunwudi mentioned. Zhang Sunwudi said, "Brother Yan, I'll leave the rest to you." The old man stood up, cupped his fists, and said, "Everyone, I'm Yan Wushu. This time, I've brought a total of 5 Sinner's Blood Stones. These Sinner's Blood Stones have different effects. The first Sinner's Blood Stone I'm going to sell is called the Dragon Force Sinner's Blood Stone." As soon as he finished speaking, Yan Wushu waved his hand. In an instant, a Sinner's Blood Stone flew out. This Sinner's Blood Stone was about the height of a person and had a bumpy surface. When this Sinner's Blood Stone was summoned, in an instant, blood chi filled the air. Moreover, vaguely, a dragon's roar could be heard coming from the Sinner's Blood Stone. Rumor has it that this Sinner's Blood Stone has fused with the bloodline of a true dragon. If you refine this Sinner's Blood Stone, your bodies will be greatly improved. Your bodies can even evolve toward the body of a true dragon. Think about it, just how terrifying a true dragon's body is. If we can cultivate our bodies to the level of a true dragon's body, or even close to it, how terrifying will our bodies be? Yan Wushu said in a gentle tone. Chapter 4466. Cultivators mainly focused on magic power and secondary on the physical body. But that didn't mean that the physical body wasn't important. In fact, the physical body was extremely important. As the saying goes, cultivation was like a sea of bitterness. The human body was the ship. The soul was the rudder. Only with a strong physical body could the ship sail smoothly in the sea of bitterness. Only with a strong soul could the ship find the right direction in the sea of bitterness. The importance of the physical body was self-evident. This was the foundation of cultivation. If the foundation was weak, the cultivation would naturally be slow. Even though not everyone liked to have a physical showdown, everyone knew that once one's physical body became stronger, the benefits one would obtain could not be described with words. So, every cultivator wanted to improve their fleshly body as quickly as possible. But Lin Feng wasn't interested in the true dragon's sin blood stone. Because Lin Feng's physical body surpassed that of a true dragon. So the true dragon's sin bloodstone was of little value to him. But for others, the true dragon's sin bloodstone had a huge attraction. Everyone looked at Yan Wushu. Someone asked, "What do you need?" Yan Wushu said, "A top-grade immortal artifact defensive treasure." Hearing that, many people frowned. Defensive treasures were rare, and the value of a top-grade immortal artifact defensive treasure was simply unimaginable. There were probably very few people who had such a treasure. Such a treasure. Who would be willing to take it out to exchange? Unless they were really interested in the true dragon's sin bloodstone. Or they had 2 top-grade immortal artifact defensive treasures. Only then would they take it out to exchange. Isn't the value of the exchange a bit too expensive? A single true dragon's sin bloodstone can't reach such a value. Someone frowned and said, "Yeah, maybe we can exchange for something else." Someone said. Many people agreed with their point of view. Exchanging a top-grade immortal artifact for a true dragon's sin bloodstone was something that many people couldn't do. Yan Wushu said, "Everyone! Those who think it's worth this price will naturally choose to exchange. Those who don't think it's worth this price, this old man will not force them." After hearing Yan Wushu's words, everyone knew that Yan Wushu would definitely not lower the price. Even if the exchange couldn't be done, the other party could choose not to exchange. The world was big. It wasn't only the Sin domain that could exchange. He could even go to a more prosperous place. "All right, I'll take this true dragon Sin bloodstone," a cultivator said. Everyone looked over and found that it was a burly middle-aged cultivator. Demonic cultivators. Many people narrowed their eyes. The middle-aged cultivator exuded a demonic aura. Clearly, he was an expert from the demon clan. Most of the demon cultivators were concentrated in the ancient demon domain. It was rare to see them out and about. The Yao cultivator waved his hand. A treasure flew out. It was a shield. This shield exuded an intimidating aura. It was definitely an extraordinary treasure. "This shield is called the Starlight Shield. It's made from celestial stones," the demon race cultivator said as he handed the shield over to the old man. Yan Wushu took the shield. After inspecting it, he nodded and said, "There are no problems. The true dragon's Sin bloodstone is yours." The Yao cultivator put away the true dragon's Sin bloodstone. Yan Wushu put away the shield, then continued. "The second Sin bloodstone is the Great Rock Sin bloodstone. This Sin bloodstone contains the bloodline of the golden-winged Great Rock Sage King. If you refine this Sin bloodstone, your speed will be greatly increased." With that, Yan Wushu took out the second Sin bloodstone. The golden-winged Great Rock Sage King was one of the most powerful existences in the history of the demon clan. He was also a famous expert. However, he was also known as a sinner's blood. "What do you want to exchange for?" someone asked, very interested in the Sin bloodstone. "I want to exchange for a strand of ancestral qi. Primal Chaos Ancestral Qi, Xianhuang Ancestral Qi, Primordial Demonic Qi, Primogenitor Demonic Qi, and other types of ancestral qi," Yan Wushu replied. Many people couldn't help but frown. The various types of ancestral qi in the world were formed at the beginning of an era. And now, it was already the end of an era. Wanting to find more ancestral qi? It was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. This was clear. Everyone was clear about this. The ancestral qi's effects were extremely shocking. Whether it was for cultivation or forging supreme treasures. For example, Lin Feng's Primal Chaos Ancient Lamp was forged from Primal Chaos Ancestral Qi. Later on, Lin Feng also added a portion of Xianhuang Ancestral Qi. That was why his Primal Chaos Ancient Lamp was so powerful. As Lin Feng's cultivation increased, the Primal Chaos Ancient Lamp's level also increased, and its power also increased. The current Primal Chaos Ancient Lamp. It was almost at the level of a peak Emperor weapon. The Primal Chaos Ancient Lamp was made of precious materials. Therefore, its growth potential was extremely high. Obviously, The peak Emperor weapon level was not the final realm of the Primal Chaos Ancient Lamp. It was only a matter of time before it broke through to the immortal weapon level. As for Lin Feng's other natal magic treasure, the Primal Chaos Stone, it was almost equivalent to an Emperor Master level Emperor weapon. Its power was also extremely terrifying. Lin Feng didn't know what Yan Wushu wanted the ancestral chi for. However, if he really used the golden-winged Great Rock Sage King's Sin Bloodstone to exchange for a strand of ancestral chi. In fact, this business was quite worth it. Many people looked at each other in dismay. Many people's brows were tightly knitted together. Because the things that Yan Wushu wanted to exchange were rarer and rarer. It was too difficult to take out what Yan Wushu wanted. Could it be that he was just here to watch the show? Many people felt very depressed when they thought of this. They didn't want to just be a spectator. But there was nothing they could do. There was nothing they could do. "I'll exchange with you, sir," a beautiful woman in a blue dress said. She took out a porcelain bottle and said, "There's a strand of ancestral chi sealed in it. It's condensed from the world's origin energy." Yan Wushu took the porcelain bottle and checked it. After that, a smile appeared on his face. He said, "This Sinner's Stone is yours, fairy." The beautiful woman nodded and put away the Sinner's Stone. Yan Wushu continued, "The third Sinner's Stone is called the Undying Sinner's Stone. It's said that it's related to that unmentionable clan." After hearing Yan Wushu's words, many people's expressions changed slightly. Undying Sinner's Stone. Undying, undying. That unmentionable clan, could it be the rumored Undying clan? Many people had an answer in their hearts, but no one said it out loud. The Undying clan was a taboo. However, many people couldn't help but be puzzled. If it was really related to the Undying clan, when did the Undying clan become Sinner's Blood? Who dared to label the Undying clan as a Sinner's Blood clan? Chapter 4467. Undying Family, this was a taboo. There was a reason why the Undying family was a taboo. It was rumored that the Undying realm was a world created by the Undying Seven Saints. Who were the Undying Seven Saints? The origin of the Undying Seven Saints was too great. The Undying Seven Saints were the seven ancestors of the Undying family. But the key was that before the Undying Seven Saints, the Undying family already existed between heaven and earth. So, the Undying family was most likely a race that crossed eras. Generally speaking, the strength of a race that crossed eras would constantly weaken. They were the strongest at the beginning of the era, and as time passed, their battle strength would become weaker and weaker. So these creatures that crossed eras would think of ways to prevent the creatures of this era from becoming stronger. This was because the more powerful the living beings of this epoch became, the more their powers would weaken. But among these creatures or races that crossed eras, there was a portion that existed. They reversed fate. This portion of existence, their cultivation would not weaken with the passage of eras. This portion of existence was naturally extremely rare. And it was rumored that the Undying family was such a family. And this kind of family was usually a high and mighty family. They were different from the other races that crossed eras. The other races that crossed eras, in order to prevent themselves from weakening, constantly slaughtered the creatures of this era. But the races that reversed fate would not do this. They could completely watch the show calmly. They were existences that transcended worldly affairs. Why did the Undying Seven Saints have such a high status in the long history of the Undying family? The reason was that the Undying family could only become a race that reversed fate. It was the credit of the Undying Seven Saints. Therefore, their status was out of this world. Their status in the eyes of the Undying clan surpassed any of their ancestors. Although the Undying Seven Saints were not the first to appear in the Undying family, nor were they the founders of the Undying family. But so what? They were the most respected people of the Undying family. The reason why the Undying realm was called the Undying realm was said to be a world that took the first two words of the four words of the Undying family. In the long years, the Undying realm had gone through the following processes. The first process, which was the process of the Undying family ruling the Undying realm after the Undying Seven Saints created the Undying realm. But later, the core members of the Undying family all left the Undying realm. Next was the second stage, which was the stage of the feudal vassals seizing power. Because the Undying clan left the Undying realm, the Undying realm became a masterless world. As the only quasi-higher realm in the myriad realms, the great world of the myriad realms, the Undying world was naturally coveted by countless forces. In the long years that followed, many great forces appeared in the Undying world and ruled the Undying world one after another. However, none of these major forces were able to truly unify the Undying world. Until the birth of Demon Emperor Tai and Demon Emperor Di Jun. The two of them joined forces and led the Demon Lord to unify the Undying realm. The stage where Demon Emperor Tai and Demon Emperor Di Jun ruled the Undying world was the third stage of the Undying world. At this stage, the Undying realm was under the rule of the demon race. Demon Emperor Tai had fallen, and the Demon Arch and Imperial Lord had monopolized power. Then, he had become a tyrant. There was also the enmity with the shamans. This led to the war of liches and demons. After the war of the liches and demons, the demon race lost control of the heavenly court. The heavenly human race and the immortal race took advantage of the situation. The sorcerer tribe, on the other hand, had withdrawn from the stage of history. They were probably hiding in some unknown place to recuperate. From then on, the heavenly court changed hands. The first celestial emperor was born. Until now, 9 celestial emperors had appeared in the Undying realm. Although it was widely rumored that the Undying clan had left the Undying realm long ago, no one dared to casually mention them. It was a forbidden clan, a clan so powerful that it was unimaginable. Everything about this clan seemed so mysterious and powerful. It was untouchable. But now, the Sinner Stone that Yen Wushu took out was actually called the Undying Sinner Stone. Could this Undying Sinner Stone be the blood of the Undying clan cultivators that merged into the Immortal Stone after they died? Yen Wushu said. Every top force has traitors and exiles. That Forbidden Clan is naturally not the Sinner's Blood clan. But the traitors of the Forbidden Clan, the exiles of the Forbidden Clan, they are Sinner's Blood. After hearing Yen Wushu's explanation, everyone finally understood the origin of the Undying Sinner Stone. It didn't come from the Undying clan. Instead, it came from the bloodline of those traitors or exiles. Those traitors and exiles were actually convicted as Sinner's Blood. Could it be the main bloodline of the Undying clan? Qualified. Could other clans, factions, or bloodlines be classified as Sinner's Blood? Lin Feng felt that it might be possible. Yen Wushu continued. The most terrifying thing about this bloodline is that it is undying and indestructible. Rumor has it that when this Forbidden Clan's bloodline is cultivated to its peak, it is indeed undying and indestructible. First, if you refine the Undying Sinner Stone, you might have a chance to refine it. If you're lucky, you might be able to give birth to a part of the Undying bloodline. If you succeed, you'll be able to slowly strengthen your bloodline. At that time, you'll be able to defy the heavens. Many people's eyes lit up when they heard Yen Wushu's words. Everyone became excited after hearing Yen Wushu's words. Lin Feng took a deep breath. He was also very excited. He had to get the Undying Sinner Stone. Lin Feng felt that the Undying Sinner Stone needed it. The Undying Sinner Stone might be able to evolve his bloodline. If his Undying bloodline evolved again, then Lin Feng's Undying bloodline would undergo a fourth awakening. During the first awakening, Lin Feng grasped the heaven-defying 9 steps of death. During the second awakening, he awakened a portion of the ancestral power that had been dormant in his bloodline. In his dantian, that power took the form of a golden dwarf. He could communicate with the dwarf and use his magic power to mobilize the dwarf's power against his enemies. During the third awakening, Lin Feng awakened the ability of Nirvana Rebirth. The success rate of this ability wasn't very high. However, as his cultivation increased, the chances of Nirvana Rebirth would greatly increase. Lin Feng had been looking forward to what kind of ability he would obtain if he continued to awaken his undying bloodline. He had been waiting for an opportunity, and now Lin Feng finally saw hope. Sir, what do you want to exchange the undying Sinnerstone for? A cultivator asked impatiently. Chapter 4468. QQ Reading Shoda. Popular Character Selection. Everyone clicked on QQ Reading and could see it at the bottom right corner. The popular character that Old Mantis set up was the main character of the Archean Dragonesque Elephant art, Lin Feng. Everyone clicked on the icon of the popular character selection and saw the words, All Characters Ranking. Everyone clicked on it. Then, they searched for the name, Lin Feng. Then, they paid attention to Lin Feng's character. They could enter the page and do all kinds of activities, such as giving likes, clicking hearts, and so on. In addition, everyone could get support points by subscribing and tipping. As long as they had support points, they could continuously increase Lin Feng's points. Checking in the book review section could also increase support points. Old Mantis begged for everyone's help. Chapter 4469. Everyone looked at Yan Wushu. They all wanted to know what he wanted to exchange the undying Sinner Bloodstone for. Of course, they all knew that the chances of the undying Sinner Bloodstone giving birth to the undying bloodline were not high. However, it was still a hope. So, they all wanted to give it a try. It was fine if they couldn't give birth to the undying bloodline, but what if they could? The benefits they would get. It would be unimaginable. This old man needs an immortal scripture. If anyone can take it out and exchange it with me, I'll give them the undying Sinner Bloodstone, Yan Wushu said. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown at Yan Wushu's words. This old geezer. What an exorbitant demand. The undying Sinner Bloodstone was precious. However, the chances of it giving birth to the undying bloodline were extremely low. The main reason was that those cultivators weren't from the Undying clan. They didn't have the Undying bloodline in them. Thus, even if they refined the Undying Sinner Bloodstone, the chances of them giving birth to the Undying bloodline were naturally not high. The chances might not even be 1 in 1,000. Such a small chance, yet he wanted to exchange it with an immortal scripture. If that wasn't an exorbitant demand, then what was? An immortal scripture. That was a legacy that countless forces would go crazy for. Even ordinary true immortals. Most likely, they wouldn't be able to create an immortal scripture. Thus, just how extraordinary and precious was an immortal scripture? How laughable! You must be so poor that you've gone mad. You want to exchange the undying Sinner Bloodstone for an immortal scripture? Why don't you exchange it for an ancient weapon? Someone said with a sneer. He was very rude. The person who spoke felt that he had no hope of getting any of the undying Sinner Bloodstones from Yan Wushu. Thus, he became angry out of humiliation. That was why he said such mocking words. Fellow Taoist, aren't your words a bit too harsh? Yan Wushu's expression darkened. Another cultivator sneered. You really think we're fools, don't you? You want to team up with Gong Sunwoody to trick us? Gong Sunwoody's expression changed. In fact, even Gong Sunwoody felt that Yan Wushu's exchange was too much. As for Gong Sunwoody, he was a person with a wide range of friends. Many of the cultivators who came this time had a good relationship with him. Now that Yan Wushu had played such a trick on him, Gong Sunwoody was a little angry. He felt that he treated Yan Wushu as a friend, which was why he helped him. But Yan Wushu shouldn't have tricked him like that. However, Gong Sunwoody also knew that this was not the time to interrupt. Otherwise, it would only make things worse. Yan Wushu could not help but frown when he saw that everyone's attitude had become so sharp. Then, he glanced at Gong Sunwoody and found that Gong Sunwoody's expression was quite ugly. Yan Wushu knew that he had underestimated the price that everyone was willing to pay. The value of the undying Sinner Bloodstone to the Undying clan was unimaginable. But the key was that he couldn't find anyone from the Undying clan. The cultivators from the other powers were very interested in the undying sinner's bloodstone, but if they were given a sky-high price, they wouldn't be able to resist it. These people would definitely not agree to it. That was why the group of people looked very angry now. They felt that Yen Wushu was playing them like fools. And Gongsun Wudi was obviously dissatisfied with him because of this matter. Yen Wushu knew that he had made a mistake, but he decided to do his best to remedy it. So, he said, "Everyone, how about this? I'll give Brother Gongsun some face. This undying sinner's bloodstone doesn't need to be exchanged with an immortal sutra. Let's exchange for it using the 3,000 great das. The highest bidder wins. How does that sound?" After hearing Yen Wushu's words, many people cursed him in their hearts. This guy was not a plaything. The 3,000 great das were indeed not as valuable as an immortal sutra. But that also depended on how one looked at it. The immortal sutra recorded all kinds of attacks. The 3,000 great das were the foundation of all das. The emphasis was different. Yen Wushu did not insist on exchanging for the immortal sutra, but now he wanted everyone to use the 3,000 great das. The highest bidder wins. Everyone wanted to give Yen Wushu a hard slap. But the item was in Yen Wushu's hands. So, Yen Wushu had the final say in the rules. If they did not want to follow the rules set by Yen Wushu, they could only withdraw. Lin Feng raised his eyebrows. To him, using the 3,000 great das to compete was naturally more acceptable than exchanging for the Immortal's Sutra. After all, Lin Feng had already mastered all 3,000 great das. When the time came, he could give Yen Wushu some of the lower-ranked ones. "Everyone, we can start the bidding now," Yen Wushu said. This guy was clearly a sly old fox. With his methods, he would definitely be able to maximize his own benefits. The surrounding cultivators looked at each other, not knowing what to say. But now, Yen Wushu would probably not change his mind. If that was the case, then let's try to bid. "I'll offer a 3,000 great das." Soon, a cultivator spoke up. Many people couldn't help but smile. This brother had deliberately offered a 3,000 great das for the undying sinner's bloodstone. Was he trying to humiliate Yen Wushu on purpose? When Yen Wushu heard this price, his expression turned slightly ugly. He felt that he should have stated the price clearly. It couldn't be any lower than the 3,000 great das. But it was too late now. 2, 3, 4, 5. Many people participated in the bidding. The price soared. 30, 35, 40. After the price reached the 40th item, no one continued to bid higher. After all, 40 of the 3,000 great das wasn't a small number. Most of the cultivators present only cultivated 300 or 400 of the 3,000 great das. In all the realms, there weren't many people who cultivated more than 1,000 of the 3,000 great das. Apart from the Zun Master Hongqin, who else could have studied 3,000 different kinds of Tao like Lin Feng? 50. At this moment, someone else made a bid. The person who made this bid was none other than Divine Flame Saint. Divine Flame Saint was very interested in the undying sinner's bloodstone. They wanted to win the immortal bloodstone. After seeing Divine Flame Saint's bid, no one else made a bid. Even if someone could bid higher, they didn't want to offend Divine Flame Saint. Just as Divine Flame Saint thought that the undying sinner's bloodstone was about to become his, suddenly, a voice sounded. Chapter 4470. Lin Feng had to get the undying sinner bloodstone because it was too important to Lin Feng. Lin Feng doubled the price because he wanted to scare Divine Flame Saint away. "Who is this kid? He's offering 100 or 3,000 das? He doesn't cherish the 3,000 das?" Many people looked at Lin Feng in shock. The 3,000 das were precious. Who would be willing to take them out? However, Lin Feng didn't seem to care. "Kid, you dare to compete with me?" Divine Flame Saint's eyes turned cold. In Divine Flame Saint's opinion, Lin Feng wasn't giving him any face when he tried to compete with him. Divine Flame Saint wanted to kill Lin Feng. He was a cold-blooded person to begin with. If he didn't like it, blood would splatter everywhere. Therefore, Divine Flame Saint was furious when he saw that Lin Feng dared to compete with him. Lin Feng glanced at Divine Flame Saint indifferently. This guy really thought too highly of himself. How laughable. So what if he was the grandson of Divine Heavenly King? Did he really think he was someone important? Lin Feng couldn't even be bothered with Divine Flame Saint. I'm talking to you. How dare you ignore me? Divine Flame Saint looked coldly at Lin Feng. When he saw Lin Feng look at him disdainfully, Saint Godly Flame was furious. What kind of high and mighty figure was he? Yet, Lin Feng dared to look at him with such contempt. Divine Flame Saint was infuriated. He wanted nothing more than to kill Lin Feng with a single palm strike. Lin Feng said disdainfully. The highest bidder wins. Don't you understand? Also, don't think that everyone will be afraid of you just because you're the grandson of Divine Heavenly King. If you weren't, who would care about you? Also, don't think that you're a badass. You're not. If you lose the protection of the Holy Heavenly King, let alone the others, how many of us here can you defeat? Lin Feng's words caused the surrounding people's expressions to suddenly shake. Everyone looked at Lin Feng in surprise. They didn't know who Lin Feng was, but he dared to say such words to mock God Flame Saint. However, when he saw Divine Flame Saint's face, which was twisted with anger, he felt a chill run down his spine. Many people felt quite refreshed. Xin Yanxing was too arrogant. This made many people extremely unhappy. However, everyone was hindered by the terrifying existence of the Divine Heavenly King. Therefore, he didn't dare to offend Divine Flame Saint. But now, there was actually someone who didn't even care about the Divine Heavenly King's deterrence. Mocking Divine Flame Saint without restraint made everyone extremely excited. They enjoyed watching such a good show. Xin Yanxing's eyes flashed with killing intent. Xin Yanxing naturally didn't think that his strength was as weak as Lin Feng said. Xin Yanxing felt that apart from a few unfathomable elders, he could beat everyone else. But Lin Feng said that most of the people here could defeat him. Lin Feng looked down on Divine Flame Saint. How could Xin Yanxing accept this? He said coldly. Brat, I think you're courting death. Since you're courting death, I can fulfill your wish right now. You! Save it! With your little cultivation, you should serve Divine Heavenly King. That way, you can intimidate others. If you're outside, you're so weak that you don't even have the qualifications to make me attack. Lin Feng said indifferently. The moment he said that, the surrounding cultivators were all dumbfounded. Because Lin Feng was too arrogant and aggressive. No matter what, Xin Yanxing was still a super genius with a powerful bloodline and talent. Moreover, he had already cultivated for about 50,000 years. He had even reached the human immortal realm. Although they couldn't sense Lin Feng's specific cultivation, they could sense Lin Feng's age. Lin Feng's life force was too young. He was only a little over 100 years old. How much cultivation could someone who started cultivating in their mother's womb have? Yet now, Lin Feng was mocking Divine Flame Saint in all kinds of ways. Was Lin Feng courting death? This guy is really audacious. He even dares to provoke Divine Flame Saint. Su Yihan's beautiful eyes couldn't help but gleam with excitement. She was someone who liked to see the world plunged into chaos. Thus, when she saw Lin Feng humiliating Divine Flame Saint like this, she couldn't help but admire him. She couldn't help but admire Lin Feng's courage. Now, when she looked at Lin Feng again, he seemed much more pleasing to the eye than before. Mu Yasi didn't say anything. Her pair of beautiful eyes had been observing the conflict. Brat, I'll kill you now! Divine Flame Saint's eyes turned cold as he stepped toward Lin Feng. He wanted to kill Lin Feng. Hold on! At this moment, Gong Sun Woody, who hadn't said anything until now, suddenly spoke. He was the master of Divine Pavilion and had a deep background. That's why he spoke. He naturally had to give Gong Sun Woody face. Senior Gong Sun! This brat has humiliated me. I must kill him today, said Divine Flame Saint coldly. Gongsun Woody said. I don't care what kind of grudges you have, but in the Heaven Saint Pavilion, private fights are prohibited. If someone wants to fight, I can only ask him to leave. Divine Flame Saint's expression became uncertain after hearing Gongsun Woody. He really wanted to kill Lin Feng right now. Only then could he vent the hatred in his heart. However, he had to take Gongsun Woody's threat to heart. He decided to give Gongsun Woody face and deal with Lin Feng after the trade fair ended. Brat! I'll let you live for a while longer. Divine Flame Saint looked indifferently at Lin Feng before returning to his seat. Lin Feng couldn't be bothered to pay attention to Divine Flame Saint. Yan Wushu looked at Divine Flame Saint and asked, Young Master Divine, are you going to continue bidding? In Divine Flame Saint's eyes, Lin Feng was no different from a dead man. So what if Lin Feng won the Undying Sinner Blood Stone? Wouldn't it be his in the end? That was why Divine Flame Saint couldn't be bothered to continue bidding. He waved his hand, indicating that he wouldn't continue. The Undying Sinner Blood Stone is yours, young friend. Yan Wushu looked at Lin Feng. Lin Feng took out a jade tube and branded it with 100 of the 3,000 great Das, all of which were ranked at the bottom. He handed the tube to Yan Wushu. Yan Wushu scanned it with his divine sense and found that he hadn't cultivated any of the 3,000 great Das. His face lit up. He put the tube away. Lin Feng put away the Undying Sinner Blood Stone. He was very excited to have obtained the Undying Sinner Blood Stone. His undying bloodline. Would he be able to complete the fourth awakening? Lin Feng hoped that everything would go smoothly. The next Sinner Blood Stone is the ancient Buddha Sinner Blood Stone. It said, This Sinner Blood Stone. It's stained with the blood of a Buddhist monk. Yan Wushu continued. He waved his hand, and the fourth Sinner Blood Stone flew out. This Sinner Blood Stone was in the shape of a human. It looked like an ancient Buddha sitting cross-legged with his palms pressed together, meditating. Chapter 4471. When the ancient Buddha Sin Blood Stone was brought out, everyone couldn't help but reveal an extremely shocked expression. This was because they heard the old monk chanting scriptures. The ancient Buddha Sin Blood Stone could actually emit such a sound. It was simply too extraordinary. The ancient Buddha Sin Blood Stone was full of mysteries. Rumor has it that the ancient Buddha Sin Blood Stone is always by one side. It's very beneficial to cultivation, especially to cultivators who cultivate Buddhist techniques and divine abilities. Moreover, it can help cultivators quickly comprehend the Tao, Yan Wushu said. The ancient Buddha Sin Blood Stone was somewhat different from other Sin Blood Stones. The biggest use of this Sin Blood Stone wasn't for cultivators to refine it. Instead, it was for cultivators to carry it with them. Only then could they bring out the Sin Blood Stone's greatest effect. Why did the ancient Buddha also become a Sin Blood Stone? Lin Feng looked at Mujasi and asked. She said, There are no Buddhas in the Undying Realm. After hearing this, Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. This was a sensitive topic, so she didn't say much. However, Lin Feng could roughly understand the meaning behind her words. There were no Buddhas in the Undying Realm. Did that mean there was no Buddhism in the Undying Realm? Why was there no Buddhism in the Undying Realm? It was fine if there was no Buddhism in the Undying Realm, but Buddhism's eminent monks had also become Sin Blood Stones. It was really strange. Did that mean Buddhism's eminent monks were also rejected by the three supreme realms and the Undying Realm? Therefore, was that why there was such a thing as there being no Buddhas in the Undying Realm? Lin Feng thought. Perhaps that was the case. Therefore, Buddhism's eminent monks had become Sin Blood Stones. What do you want to exchange for? A cultivator wearing a bamboo hat asked. Everyone looked at this cultivator, and many frowned slightly. This cultivator hid his aura very well. They couldn't even sense his age, cultivation, and so on. They couldn't sense anything. Yan Wushu glanced at this cultivator. He didn't care who the other party was. He only cared if the other party had something to exchange with him. I want to exchange for the World Demon Heart. he said. Lin Feng didn't know what the world demon heart was. However, some people had clearly heard of it. The cultivators who had heard of the heaven-earth devil heart couldn't help but frown. A cultivator said, "The devil's heart condensed by the heaven and earth naturally contains the power of the devil's nature. This kind of devil's heart is an extremely mysterious thing, rarely seen since ancient times. However, it is said that they possess some unimaginable abilities. As for what those abilities are, I don't know. However, I've only heard rumors about the demonic heart of heaven and earth. I've never seen a real demonic heart of heaven and earth. Therefore, I don't know if the demonic heart of heaven and earth really exists in this world. Or is the demonic heart of heaven and earth just a legend? There is indeed a heaven-earth demon heart in this world," the cultivator with the bamboo hat said. His right hand was extended. Then, an item appeared in his right hand. It was a mass of black energy. There seemed to be a heart in the black energy. Everyone heard the dong 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 sound. Furthermore, when he heard the thumping sounds, he was shocked. Everyone felt as if their hearts were being oppressed by an invisible force. That kind of oppression was extremely painful. Fortunately, that oppressive feeling disappeared in the blink of an eye. That's right, this is the demonic heart of heaven and earth. The ancient Buddha Sin Stone is yours, fellow Taoist. Yan Wushu took the demonic heart of heaven and earth. A look of wild joy appeared on his face. He didn't know what this guy wanted the demonic heart of heaven and earth for. He wasn't going to do anything bad, was he? The mysterious cultivator with the bamboo hat put away the ancient Buddha Sin Blood Stone. Then he sat back down in his seat. The last piece of Sin Stone is the sacred spirit Sin Stone. It is said that it was formed after the death of a mysterious and powerful life form. The sacred spirit Sin Stone is incomparably mysterious. Therefore, even this old man doesn't know what kind of effects it has. If someone can take out a piece of Heavenly Mother Jade, the sacred spirit Sin Stone will belong to them. Yan Wushu said. Heavenly Mother Jade. This was a legendary treasure. It was said that Heavenly Mother Jade was born at the beginning of the epic. The Heavenly Mother Jade contained unimaginable divine power. There were many rumors about Heavenly Mother Jade in the outside world, but very few people had actually seen it. This was especially true at the end of the epic, when all kinds of resources had long gone extinct. The end of the epic was very different from the beginning. Therefore, it was necessary to find many precious and rare materials at the end of the epic. This was an extremely difficult task. Many people shook their heads. They couldn't take out something like Heavenly Mother Jade. At this moment, Muyasi said, I have a piece of Heavenly Mother Jade here. As soon as she said that, Muyasi took out a piece of jade. It was a piece of milky white jade. It was surrounded by a holy light. Good. The sacred spirit Sin Stone is yours, fairy. Yan Wushu looked at Muyasi and said. Both sides made an exchange. Muyasi received the sacred spirit Sin Stone. Yan Wushu, on the other hand, had obtained Muyasi's celestial jade. This was the fifth piece of Heavenly Mother Jade. After completing this transaction, Yan Wushu said, Everyone, the 5 pieces of Heavenly Mother Jade have been exchanged. The trade fair is over. Thank you for coming to support us. Gongsun Wudi stood up and said, This one has already prepared a banquet for all of you who came from afar. Everyone, please take a seat. Of course, not everyone was interested in staying. Only a few cultivators who were close to Gongsun Wudi stayed. The rest left one after another. After arriving outside the Heaven Saint Pavilion, Lin Feng immediately felt a dense killing intent enveloping him. Xin Yanxing stepped forward. His eyes flashed with a sinister light as he looked at Lin Feng. Brat, are you ready to die? Xin Yanxing looked at Lin Feng with contempt. It was as if he was looking at an ant. In his eyes, Lin Feng was nothing to be afraid of. He was now thinking about how to torture Lin Feng to death later. He didn't want Lin Feng to die too easily. If Lin Feng died too easily, it wouldn't be able to relieve the hatred in his heart. Many cultivators looked at Lin Feng and Xin Yanxing. Everyone knew that Xin Yanxing would definitely not let Lin Feng off. Now that they saw Xin Yanxing targeting Lin Feng, everyone stopped and waited to watch the show. When they were in the Heaven Saint Pavilion, Xin Yanxing took into account the rules set by Gong Sun Wudi. He didn't make a move on Lin Feng. Now, out of the Heaven Saint Pavilion, Xin Yanxing naturally didn't need to give face to Gong Sun Wudi. So, in the eyes of many, this time, Lin Feng was probably dead. They didn't think that such a young Lin Feng would be a match for Xin Yanxing. Chapter 4472. Lin Feng glanced at Xin Yanxing indifferently. You know your place. You should be happy that I didn't kill you, but you still came to cause trouble for me. You don't want to live anymore, do you? Divine Flame Sacred's expression turned gloomy when he heard Lin Feng's words. Wasn't this brat's ego a little too high? The others couldn't help but roll their eyes as well. They actually hoped that Lin Feng would be able to crush Divine Flame Sacred under his feet. However, they knew that such a thing was impossible. Divine Flame Sacred's cultivation was too strong. Lin Feng was still far from being able to deal with Divine Flame Sacred. Lin Feng could only rely on his eloquence. However, with Divine Flame Sacred's personality, did Divine Flame Sacred really think he would let him go? Of course not. I will end your life within 3 moves. Divine Flame Sacred looked at Lin Feng indifferently. He didn't care about Lin Feng at all. He was full of contempt and disdain for Lin Feng. In his opinion, killing Lin Feng was a piece of cake. It was as easy as blowing off dust. That was how confident Divine Flame Sacred was. Just as Divine Flame Sacred was about to attack, Lin Feng said, Since you want to fight, this young master can play with you. However, I don't have the time to deal with you right now. 3 days from now, you and I will fight to the death on the arena in Divine Sovereign City's plaza. Do you dare accept? Lin Feng's words caused a commotion in the crowd. Was Lin Feng stalling for time by challenging Divine Flame Sacred to a life-and-death battle? Many people believed that Lin Feng was stalling for time, waiting for a better opportunity. Then, he would flee. In truth, Lin Feng wasn't stalling for time. Lin Feng was in a hurry to refine the undying Sinner Bloodstone. How could he be in the mood to deal with Divine Flame Sacred? Divine Flame Sacred wasn't afraid that Lin Feng would flee. He sneered and said, That's even better. I like to kill my opponent in front of everyone. 3 days later, I will personally kill you on the arena. With that, Divine Flame Saint walked away. This was why Divine Flame Saint agreed to Lin Feng's request. Indeed, it was as Divine Flame Saint had said. Killing Lin Feng now would be letting Lin Feng off too easily. He liked to torture and kill his opponents in front of everyone. He liked being the center of attention. He liked it when others were afraid of him. And the life and death duel with Lin Feng just happened to be a good opportunity. He could experience that feeling again. After Divine Flame Saint left, Lin Feng, Mu Yasi, and Sui Han left as well. On the way, Sui Han asked, You've delayed for 3 days, are you trying to take advantage of this opportunity to escape? If you beg this young lady, perhaps this young lady can help you escape from Divine Lord's city? Lin Feng asked. Why do I have to escape? Sui Han said, Divine Flame Saint is a human immortal with great talent. He's not an ordinary human immortal. He's the kind of human immortal who can challenge those of a higher realm. Your cultivation isn't weak, but if you think you can fight Divine Flame Saint, then you're gravely mistaken. From her words, it was clear that she didn't think Lin Feng had the ability to do so. Lin Feng said, It's just Divine Flame Saint. He's nothing. You. Sui Han was annoyed. She couldn't help but feel vexed. She said coldly, When the time comes, just wait and see Divine Flame Saint cut you into pieces. Lin Feng said, How can he have that ability? Sui Han was speechless. Lin Feng was indeed too arrogant. He even considered everyone else beneath him. Where did Lin Feng get his confidence from? When Lin Feng went back to his residence, he sealed it with some deployment spells. Someone secretly followed him. Lin Feng had long sensed their tracks. Lin Feng guessed that they were people sent by Divine Flame Saint to keep an eye on him. Lin Feng didn't care about them at all. He entered seclusion. While Lin Feng was in seclusion, the news that Lin Feng was going to have a life-and-death duel with Divine Flame Saint quickly spread throughout Divine Sovereign City. It caused a huge uproar. Who was Divine Flame Saint? He was the grandson of the Divine Heavenly King. He was the leader of the Divine Legion stationed in Divine Sovereign City. He was someone like that. Who dared to provoke him? But now, someone actually dared to provoke Divine Flame Saint. And he even challenged Divine Flame Saint to a life-and-death duel. Of course, this matter was shocking. However, many people hated Divine Flame's sacred capital, especially the natives of Divine Monarch City, because of the destruction of Divine Lord Xuanyuan's statue. Their hatred for Divine Flame Saint was very strong. Therefore, they couldn't wait for Divine Flame Saint to be killed. In fact, Divine Flame Saint knew this as well. He agreed to Lin Feng's life-and-death duel. First, it had something to do with his personality. Second, Divine Flame Saint wanted to warn the people of Divine Sovereign City. You don't like me, right? So what if you don't like me? I'm still living a carefree life. Not convinced? You want to find trouble with me? Then I'll kill you directly. You people are simply too weak in front of me. Many people were looking forward to this battle because in those people's opinion, the person who dared to challenge Divine Flame Saint must be at an extremely high realm. But then there was another news that said that the cultivator who challenged Divine Flame Saint was very young. And he was a human cultivator who only had a lifespan of more than 100 years. After hearing this news, there were wails. A human cultivator with a lifespan of more than 100 years. How high could his cultivation be? What did he have to challenge Divine Flame Saint? Therefore, when this news came out, many people felt that there was nothing unexpected about this battle at all. Lin Feng, the challenger, would definitely die miserably. But there were also some people who felt that this rumor might not be reliable. Maybe Lin Feng wasn't just a human cultivator with a lifespan of more than 100 years. Maybe he was an extremely powerful human cultivator? It wasn't impossible. Therefore, everyone was waiting for the battle to come. While the outside world was in an uproar because of the battle between Lin Feng and Divine Flame Saint, Lin Feng chose to go into seclusion. He entered time and space. Before refining the immortal bloodstone, Lin Feng planned to refine the Earth Immortal's origin that he'd obtained before. Because his realm wasn't particularly perfect before, Lin Feng hadn't refined the Earth Immortal's origin. But now, Lin Feng felt that his realm was quite perfect. It was time to refine the Earth Immortal's origin. The Earth Immortal's origin. It should be quite effective. Lin Feng was now at the third firmament of the Holy Emperor realm. He wondered after refining the Earth Immortal's origin. Would his realm increase a bit? Of course, Lin Feng was very much looking forward to it. After taking out the Earth Immortal's origin, Lin Feng began to circulate the Archean Dragonesque Elephant Art. Under the circulation of the Archean Dragonesque Elephant Art, the Earth Immortal's origin was continuously refined. Chapter 4473. As Lin Feng continued to absorb the Earth Immortal's origin, Lin Feng could clearly feel the powerful energy within his body increasing. This feeling was simply too good. The powerful energy fused into his Fa Li. Lin Feng's Fa Li began to rapidly transform. Not long after, Lin Feng's cultivation level rose from the third heavenly layer of Saint Emperor to the fourth heavenly layer of Saint Emperor. There was still a lot of Earth Immortal's origin in his body. It seemed that the Earth Immortal's origin had a rather good effect on Lin Feng's cultivation level. After breaking through, Lin Feng did not stop. He continued to refine the Earth Immortal's origin in his body. Not long after, Lin Feng's cultivation level rose from the fourth heavenly layer of Saint Emperor to the fifth heavenly layer of Saint Emperor. Breaking through 2 levels consecutively did not consume much of the Earth Immortal's origin in his body. This made Lin Feng very excited. This was because Lin Feng felt that he could continue to break through. His accumulation was simply too powerful. Breaking through was also incomparably difficult. If he could continue to break through, Lin Feng would naturally be pleasantly surprised. After about 4 hours, Lin Feng's cultivation level rose from the 5th heavenly layer of Saint Emperor to the 6th heavenly layer of Saint Emperor. However, Lin Feng's Earth Immortal's origin was still not completely consumed. Lin Feng continued to refine the Earth Immortal's origin. After all the Earth Immortal's origin was refined, Lin Feng's cultivation level. He broke through from the 6th heavenly layer of Saint Emperor to the 7th heavenly layer of Saint Emperor. This made Lin Feng extremely excited. He had broken through 4 levels in one go. The effect of the Earth Immortal's origin shocked Lin Feng. One had to know. Lin Feng's accumulation was simply too powerful. His breakthrough of 4 levels was completely different from other people's breakthrough of 4 levels in one go. Lin Feng had broken through 4 cultivation levels in a row, and his fighting abilities had increased by a terrifying amount. Lin Feng sensed the increase in Fa Li in his body. He could not help but smile. The Fa Li in his body was truly powerful. This made Lin Feng quite excited. He was now a step closer to becoming a monarch lord. Lin Feng wanted to raise his cultivation as soon as possible. Because there were too many experts in the Undying Realm. His current level of cultivation was still not enough. Therefore, Lin Feng felt a strong sense of urgency. But Lin Feng also knew. The matter of increasing one's cultivation base could not be rushed. Because in itself, he had to take it one step at a time. It was unrealistic to want to reach the heavens in a single bound. After the breakthrough, Lin Feng was in a good mood. After a short rest, Lin Feng took out the Undying Sinner Bloodstone. He looked at the Undying Sinner's bloodstone and couldn't help but mutter to himself, "Whose blood has fused into this sinner's bloodstone?" Since the other party had said that the blood that had fused with him was not the blood of the main bloodline, Zhang Xian could not help but sigh. Then whose could it be? Could it be the blood of an ancestor of my Lin clan? Lin Feng placed his hand on the Undying Bloodstone. Then, his Undying Bloodline began to circulate. When Lin Feng's Undying Bloodline began to circulate, suddenly, the Undying Bloodstone began to change. A large amount of blood qi surged out from the Undying Bloodstone. And the blood qi, it surrounded Lin Feng. The blood qi contained unimaginable power. And that power was so strong that it could move one's expression. Lin Feng sensed the power of the Undying Bloodline. The blood qi was actually formed by the fusion of the Undying Bloodline and the energy of the Immortal Stone. My fate is in my own hands, not in the hands of the heavens. Suddenly, Lin Feng vaguely heard a voice ringing in his ears. The voice came from the Undying Bloodstone. Lin Feng was very surprised. Could that voice be the voice of that ancestor? His voice was branded by the Undying Sinner's bloodstone. Lin Feng wanted to have an epiphany and see some scenes of the past. However, he wasn't able to do so. Lin Feng had only heard that voice, that was all. Moreover, after that voice, Lin Feng didn't even hear any other voices. The Undying Bloodline began to circulate faster and faster. As the Undying Bloodline began to circulate, the blood qi within the Undying Bloodstone began to flow out faster and faster. The blood qi poured into Lin Feng's body in an endless stream. Then it was absorbed by Lin Feng's body. As Lin Feng continued to absorb the blood qi, he felt that his immortal bloodline was becoming hotter and hotter. Even Lin Feng's body began to heat up. Lin Feng felt as if his body had become an oven. At the same time, Lin Feng felt as if his bloodline shackles were being broken. Bloodline shackles were something that couldn't be seen, but they truly existed. It was just like how luck was something that couldn't be seen, but it truly existed. Breaking a bloodline shackle and awakening a special bloodline was the main way to evolve a bloodline. Of course, there were many ways to evolve a bloodline. But the conventional bloodline evolution method was to break a bloodline shackle. As Lin Feng's bloodline shackles were gradually being broken, Lin Feng's breathing also began to quicken. He couldn't wait to see what kind of abilities he would obtain after his bloodline shackles were broken. Of the abilities Lin Feng had awakened before, only the 9 steps of death from his first awakening had been a bit weaker. Actually, the 9 steps of death was extremely powerful. But because Lin Feng had cultivated so many powerful abilities, and even several immortal and demonic scriptures, Lin Feng felt that the 9 steps of death was a bit weaker. Lin Feng was extremely satisfied with the second and third awakenings of his undying bloodline. The Golden Dwarf and Nirvana Rebirth were extremely useful to Lin Feng. This time, Lin Feng spent 5 days in seclusion. After Lin Feng devoured all the blood energy in the undying sinner's blood, Lin Feng's undying bloodline had finally completed its 4th awakening. At this moment, Lin Feng was completely immersed in the shock and impact of the awakening of his undying bloodline. Lin Feng sensed the new ability given to him after the awakening of his undying bloodline. Samsara of life and death. This was the new ability Lin Feng had obtained after the 4th awakening of his undying bloodline. Samsara of life and death was a supreme bloodline ability. It was rumored that this ability didn't just have unimaginable attack power. In fact, he could even fight for a chance of survival for those who had died, and then awaken the dead. It could give them new life. When he saw the effects of Samsara of life and death, Lin Feng's face immediately revealed a deeply shocked expression. Samsara of life and death was truly a terrifying ability. This ability seemed to be slightly similar to the 6 paths of reincarnation. He wondered if Samsara of life and death was related to the 6 paths of reincarnation. Could it be that he could awaken an even more powerful 6 paths of reincarnation in the future? Chapter 4474. Time flew by. In the blink of an eye, it was already the day of the battle between Lin Feng and Xing Yanqing. It was a very lively day. Early in the morning, many people rushed toward the square. Everyone was naturally looking forward to this battle. Many people did not have much hope for Lin Feng. But what if a miracle happened? Everyone was looking forward to the birth of a miracle. It would be best if Lin Feng could kill Xing Yanqing. There was a sea of people in the square. Sui Han, Mu Yasi, and a dozen other disciples came together. She said, "Lin Feng's residence is closed. He won't dare to come, right?" Mu Yasi said, "This doesn't seem like Lin Gongzi's style of doing things." "Don't worry. Lin Gongzi will definitely come out." Sui Han nodded. She didn't know why, but she didn't want Lin Feng to come either. Should she not want him to be cut into pieces? Why did she not want him to come? Was she worried that he would be killed by Xing Yanqing? She wanted to kill him, to avenge her humiliation. Therefore, she did not want this guy to be killed by Xing Yanqing. Sui Han thought of this reason and immediately convinced herself. That must be it. A commotion could be heard in the distance. The Sacred Legion's cultivators opened a path. 9 flood dragons pulled a carriage over. The divine carriage stopped in the void. A beautiful servant girl opened the carriage's curtains. Then, Xing Yanqing walked out. He came out for a life and death duel and made such a big show. This guy is really vain. He's always thinking about showing off. Sui Han curled her lips and said. Mu Yasi, on the other hand, looked at Sui Han thoughtfully. Xing Yanqing landed on the arena of life and death. He was very young and very handsome. At this moment, he was dressed in snow-white clothes. It made him look like a banished immortal. However, many people cursed in their hearts. They were filled with disgust toward Xing Yanqing. "Look, that kid is here!" A cultivator who had participated in the trade fair a few days ago pointed into the distance. That cultivator clearly knew Lin Feng and had witnessed the entire conflict between Lin Feng and Xing Yanqing. Therefore, he saw a young cultivator flying over from afar. He was quick to recognize the other party. The young cultivator was none other than Lin Feng. The surrounding cultivators also turned to look at Lin Feng. After seeing Lin Feng, many people couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Wasn't the cultivator who challenged Divine Flame's Saint too young? It seemed that, he was really dead. Many of the cultivators who were hoping for a miracle shook their heads. No one thought that Lin Feng could defeat an expert like Divine Flame Saint. Even Sui Han thought so. Not to mention those who didn't know Lin Feng. Lin Feng also landed on the stage. I thought you would be like a stray dog, taking advantage of these 3 days to find a chance to slip away. However, you didn't run away. This is really beyond my expectations. Divine Flame Saint looked at Lin Feng with contempt. That gaze contained deep disdain for Lin Feng. Why should I run away? Today, I'm going to beat the weak. Of course I won't run away. Lin Feng shrugged. Beat the weak? Many people couldn't help but look at each other. Then those people couldn't help but smile bitterly. Did Lin Feng mean that fighting with Divine Flame Saint was actually beating the weak? Was he looking down on Divine Flame Saint? After all, there were very few people who had come into contact with Lin Feng. Therefore, when everyone saw how arrogant Lin Feng was, they couldn't help but be speechless. Where did Lin Feng get the confidence to be so arrogant? Of course. Everyone really hoped that Lin Feng had the capital to be arrogant. He had the strength to kill Divine Flame Saint. However, the key point was, Lin Feng was too young. How could he be a match for Divine Flame Saint? Therefore, in many people's opinion, in front of Divine Flame Saint, Lin Feng was a dead man. Could it be that he wanted to say something before he died? Many people thought so. Perhaps there was such a possibility. After being mocked by Lin Feng, Divine Flame Saint's face darkened. The corner of his mouth twitched violently. In terms of eloquence, he was really not as good as Lin Feng. Kid, I'll tear you apart. Divine Flame Saint looked at Lin Feng indifferently. Then, he walked step by step toward Lin Feng. I'll let you wait for death in fear. As soon as he finished speaking, an extremely powerful aura suddenly emitted from Divine Flame Saint's body. That terrifying aura enveloped Lin Feng. It pressed down on Lin Feng. Although Divine Flame Saint's aura was not targeted at the cultivators outside. However, many cultivators who were watching the battle felt the pressure from the aura. There was still a feeling of suffocation. That suffocating feeling couldn't help but cause them to turn pale with fright, and their minds went cold. Domineering aura, it's domineering aura. Divine Flame Saint used domineering aura. At this time, someone said, there were many experts and talents in the undying realm. Therefore, it was not particularly incredible to be able to see Divine Flame Saint's domineering aura. When they heard that Divine Flame Saint used domineering aura, many people could not help but reveal a shocked expression. Since ancient times, people with domineering aura were too rare. Needless to say, it was as difficult as ascending to the heavens to awaken the innate domineering aura. Acquired domineering aura was not so easy to cultivate. This was because the method to cultivate domineering aura was almost impossible to find. Moreover, even if one obtained the method to cultivate domineering aura, if one did not have the domineering bone, they would not be able to cultivate domineering aura. The conditions to cultivate domineering aura were too harsh. Therefore, the probability of successfully cultivating the acquired domineering aura was infinitely close to zero. At this time, another cultivator said, I heard that Divine Flame Saint awakened the white domineering aura. Divine Flame Saint is indeed a super genius. He actually awakened domineering aura. There is a huge gap between that kid and Divine Flame Saint to begin with. Now that Divine Flame Saint has used his domineering aura, I'm afraid that kid doesn't even have the strength to resist, right? Divine Flame Saint said to let him wait for death in fear. He was right. Now that kid should be imprisoned by Divine Flame Saint's domineering aura. He must be extremely terrified right now, right? That's right. No matter who it is, they'll probably feel terrified. That's right. Many people discussed spiritedly. Everyone knew that this battle had just begun. It was already over. Lin Feng did not even have the chance to make a move. It was not that Lin Feng was not strong enough. It was that Divine Flame Saint was simply too strong. Too strong. It was so strong that people could not help but be shocked. Lin Feng could not resist Divine Flame Saint's attack at all. Later, Divine Flame Saint would probably torture Lin Feng to death, right? Chapter 4475. Divine Flame Saint was looking forward to seeing Lin Feng's frightened face. He liked to look down on others from a high position. He liked to decide the fate of others from a high position. However, Divine Flame Saint found that he didn't see any fear on Lin Feng's face. All he saw was a deep sense of contempt and mockery. Lin Feng's expression deeply hurt Divine Flame Saint's heart. It also hurt Divine Flame Saint's dignity. Divine Flame Saint was so angry that he wanted to burn the sky. What right did Lin Feng have? How could he show such contempt and mockery to him? Now Divine Flame Saint only wanted to humiliate Lin Feng. He wanted Lin Feng to kneel in front of him like a dog, wagging its tail and begging for mercy. "Kneel!" Divine Flame Saint said coldly. An even stronger pressure surged toward Lin Feng. Divine Flame Saint's aura pressed down on Lin Feng. Naturally, the aura integrated with the qi was very powerful. However, in Lin Feng's eyes, it couldn't withstand a single blow. Lin Feng said sarcastically, "You dare to show off your insignificant skills? If it were me, I would just find a piece of tofu and kill myself." After hearing Lin Feng's words, many people couldn't help but smile bitterly. Because Lin Feng was too arrogant and domineering. They had never seen someone as arrogant as Lin Feng. He was so arrogant. In their eyes, Lin Feng didn't seem to have the right to be so arrogant in front of Divine Flame Saint. After all, the gap between Lin Feng's cultivation and Divine Flame Saint's was too big. Divine Flame Saint walked toward Lin Feng step by step. The qi in his body kept increasing. Just as he said, he wanted to suppress Lin Feng with his qi and make Lin Feng kneel on the ground. However, Lin Feng wasn't affected at all. "What a bunch of clowns!" Lin Feng looked at Divine Flame Saint and said softly. After being humiliated like this, Xin Yanxing's killing intent soared into the sky. At this moment, the crowd who were watching the show also realized that something was amiss. Everyone thought that Lin Feng wouldn't be able to withstand Xin Yanxing's domineering attack. However, nothing happened to Lin Feng, which made many people surprised. A thought suddenly flashed through many people's minds. Could it be that this person really had a way to deal with Divine Flame Saint? When this thought appeared in his mind, many people couldn't help but jump in fright. After all, this was too inconceivable. Because Lin Feng was really too young. Many times, one would be looked down upon if one was young. "I'll take your life!" The furious Divine Flame Saint shouted coldly. Carrying a boundless domineering aura, he charged towards Lin Feng. "Today, I'll let you know what true dominance is," Lin Feng said indifferently. The next moment, Lin Feng brought out his 4 haki. The 4 domineering auras overlapped. Then, they charged towards Divine Flame Saint. Among Lin Feng's 4 domineering auras, the weakest one, Epic Aura, had now surpassed the level of Divine Flame Saint's aura. Moreover, Lin Feng overlapped the 4 domineering auras and displayed them together. The power that erupted was even more unimaginable. The 4 domineering auras unleashed a destructive attack. It instantly shattered Divine Flame Saint's domineering aura. Then, it charged towards Divine Flame Saint. Divine Flame Saint looked horrified and hurriedly performed a defensive magic to block Lin Feng's domineering attack. The defensive magic that Divine Flame Saint performed was called Golden Light Sacred Sky Shield. Dazzling sacred light condensed and formed. It formed a huge light shield. And this huge light shield protected Divine Flame Saint within. Divine Flame Saint wanted to use this defensive light shield to block Lin Feng's domineering attack. However, Divine Flame Saint's wishful thinking was wrong. Although his defensive magic was powerful, to block Lin Feng's 4 domineering auras, just how difficult was that? This was something that was almost impossible to achieve. Therefore, when Lin Feng's 4 domineering auras collided with the defensive light shield outside Divine Flame Saint's body, the defensive light shield, it shattered. Then, Divine Flame Saint was sent flying. Barf! In midair, Divine Flame Saint spat out a mouthful of blood. At this moment, the huge square instantly became silent. Divine Flame Saint, a human immortal supergenius, was actually beaten to the point of spitting out blood by Lin Feng. This was too unbelievable, wasn't it? Everyone's face was filled with disbelief and horror. He's actually so powerful. I always thought that he was bragging, but now I know that he actually has such a powerful cultivation base. No wonder he's so arrogant. If I had such a cultivation base, I would be even more arrogant than him. Actually, he might only be stating a fact. However, in our eyes, he's extremely arrogant and insolent. Who is this person? He's so powerful at such a young age. Moreover, he's a human cultivator. Could he be a celestial or immortal? Now that the human race has declined, there are only a few races that haven't declined. I'm not sure. This person is very mysterious. I've never heard of him before. The densely packed cultivators began to discuss animatedly. The combat strength Lin Feng displayed was too shocking. So much so that everyone's face revealed an expression of extreme shock. Everyone was guessing Lin Feng's identity. But basically, they had no clue. Even those who participated in the trade fair were not familiar with Lin Feng. In fact, even Mujasi Suihan and the others were not familiar with Lin Feng. I didn't expect this guy to be so terrifying. Suihan could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. Previously, she had launched a sneak attack on Lin Feng. But in the end, she was captured by Lin Feng. In fact, she was not very convinced by Lin Feng. She felt that she still had some trump cards that she had not used yet. If she used them, she might not lose to Lin Feng. But today, when she saw Lin Feng truly make a move, only then did she realize how terrifying Lin Feng was. I've said it before. If you don't rely on the Divine Heavenly King's reputation, who do you think you are? You don't even have the qualifications for this young master to look at you. If this young master wants to crush you, it'll be as easy as crushing an ant. A trash like you doesn't even have the qualifications for this young master to make a move. So, put away your arrogance because you have nothing to be proud of. Now! Kneel down immediately! Kowtow and apologize to this young master. This young master can spare your dog life. Otherwise, even if you're the Divine Heavenly King's grandson, this young master will still take your dog life. Lin Feng was standing in the air, looking like a young holy emperor. It could be said that he was incomparably arrogant, but at this moment, everyone felt that it was natural. In the world of cultivators, the strong were respected. Lin Feng was too strong, so Lin Feng's words were natural. Chapter 4476. Xing Yanxing had always been used to everything going smoothly. This guy had never been defeated. Until he was defeated by Lin Feng. Therefore, Xing Yanxing was extremely angry now. He couldn't wait to cut Lin Feng into pieces. The humiliation that Lin Feng brought to him today almost made him go crazy. Kid, I admit that I underestimated you before. Your strength is beyond my expectations, but today you will still die. Soon you will know how terrifying I am. At that time, I will let you die in endless despair. Xing Yanxing looked at Lin Feng with hatred. Then, waves of sacred light gushed out from between his eyebrows. The sacred light that gushed out from between his eyebrows was very powerful. The sacred light seemed to contain the power to destroy the world. Lin Feng frowned slightly. He had a strange feeling. The sacred light from between Xing Yanxing's eyebrows was not his power. Buzz. Suddenly, the sacred light sprinkled down, and a cultivator appeared in the sacred light. It was an old man wearing sacred armor. The old man's body emitted an aura that made people unable to help but feel suffocated. That old man. Powerful. Mysterious. Immortal. High and mighty. Like a god. Sacred Heavenly King, it's the Sacred Heavenly King. When they saw the old man, many people couldn't help but exclaim. That old man? It was actually the Sacred Heavenly King. the high and mighty sacred heavenly king. The sacred heavenly king, one of the 18 heavenly kings under the heavenly emperor. No one would have thought that a shadow of the sacred heavenly king would appear between Xinyanqing's eyebrows. It's the origin chi. This is the origin chi of the sacred heavenly king sealed between Xinyanqing's eyebrows. If Xinyanqing is in danger, he can use this origin chi to fight the enemy. When Divine Flame Sacred uses this origin source energy, his combat strength will greatly increase. After seeing the sacred heavenly king's shadow, an old man said in a deep voice. Obviously, this old man had some understanding of Xinyanqing's means. The sacred heavenly king's shadow was formed by the origin chi. Therefore, the sacred heavenly king's shadow contained part of the sacred heavenly king's power. Even if it was just a origin chi, it was no small matter. After all, this was the source energy of a true immortal expert. It was easy to imagine how powerful the origin energy of an expert of this level was. The Divine Heavenly King's Phantom and Divine Flame Saint instantly merged into one. Next, waves of terrifying ripples surged out of God Yanqing's body. No one would believe that it was coming from God Flame Saint's body after sensing that wave of energy. It was simply too powerful. It was unbelievable. It was as if an ancient expert had awakened from a deep slumber. Everyone's expression changed drastically. Then, he looked at God Flame Saint with a serious expression. Divine Flame Saint has received a strand of Divine Heavenly King's origin energy. His battle prowess has already reached the peak. Although that boy is extremely strong, I'm afraid he's no match for Divine Flame Saint now. Yeah, it's too difficult to defeat the current Divine Flame Saint. I can't imagine how powerful he is now. The grudge between that brat and Divine Flame Saint runs too deep, so Divine Flame Saint will never let him go. Many cultivators couldn't help but start discussing. Clearly, these cultivators had seen Divine Flame Saint's technique. Their confidence in Lin Feng instantly collapsed. Divine Flame Saint was already powerful enough, and now he had received the support of Divine Heavenly King's origin energy. Divine Flame Saint's strength. It had already reached an appalling level. Therefore, those cultivators, they no longer had high hopes for Lin Feng. I think that brat might have some heaven-defying techniques. Maybe he won't lose to Divine Flame Saint. That's right. I think so too. That brat is very heaven-defying. Don't underestimate him. There were also some cultivators who were more confident in Lin Feng. It didn't matter if they were confident in Lin Feng or those who weren't optimistic about Lin Feng. At this moment, everyone's attention was focused on the arena. The pinnacle battle was about to begin. Brat, do you know how you're going to die later? Divine Flame Saint looked coldly at Lin Feng. His eyes flickered with endless killing intent. His fist was surrounded by boundless holy light. Obviously, Divine Flame Saint was preparing a powerful attack. Divine Flame Saint, who had received the support of Divine Heavenly King's origin energy, was extremely confident in his battle strength. He believed that he could kill Lin Feng. It would be as easy as blowing off dust. Trash, even if you receive the support of external forces, you're still trash. How can an ant compete with a giant dragon? Lin Feng replied indifferently. His words were said casually, but in the eyes of many people, Lin Feng was revealing his domineering aura. Who would dare to say such words to Divine Flame Saint at this time? Lin Feng dared to say such words. Those who were watching the battle all felt their blood boiling. Lin Feng's words. It seemed to have ignited the hot blood in their bodies. Take my punch! Divine Flame Saint's expression was cold as he punched towards Lin Feng across the void. An energy fist condensed from holy light. It quickly blasted towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng moved horizontally to the left. He dodged the punch that was hurtling towards him. Then, Lin Feng walked towards Divine Flame Saint step by step. Divine Flame Saint's eyes turned cold. He punched towards Lin Feng one after another. Every punch. They all contained the power to destroy heaven and earth. A dense number of fist shadows condensed and formed. In a flash, he arrived in front of Lin Feng. but Lin Feng dodged all the punches that were coming towards him. "This guy is really powerful," Sui Han couldn't help but exclaim. She discovered. The more she understood Lin Feng, the more she discovered, the more terrifying Lin Feng was. Lin Feng's body seemed to be shrouded in a mysterious veil. It made people involuntarily feel. They wanted to unveil this mysterious veil. Then, they wanted to see what kind of person Lin Feng was. Crossing the primitive world, shattering the world. Seeing Lin Feng getting closer and closer to him, Divine Flame Saint felt a trace of dangerous aura. His face became gloomier. Therefore, Divine Flame Saint no longer held back and directly used his most powerful attack. After the divine ability was used, a primordial aura spread out between the heavens and the earth. Boundless desolation energy permeated the space between heaven and earth. Amidst the boundless primitive force, Yi Zichen was shocked. An earth-shaking sound of crushing the heavens was heard. "Kill!" Then, the roar resounded through the sky. The sound of war drums. Followed by the sound. It was a densely packed army. They quickly rushed over from afar. Hundreds of millions of troops. It was as if they had crossed the primitive era. The void of the undying realm was so strong. But at this moment, in the void of the undying realm, under the suppression of hundreds of millions of troops, countless cracks appeared. Chapter 4477. What a powerful ability! Divine Flame Saint has the support of Divine Heavenly King's origin energy. With this powerful ability, he's practically invincible. I'm afraid that brat will be defeated by Divine Flame Saint. Maybe he'll be killed on the spot. One cultivator after another exclaimed, feeling the terror of Xinyanqing's attack. On the faces of those cultivators. Their faces turned pale with fright. Divine Flame Saint's attack was indeed terrifying. Therefore, at this moment, the cultivators who didn't think highly of Lin Feng were even more pessimistic about Lin Feng. As for the cultivators who had originally thought highly of Lin Feng, they were shocked. His expression also became serious. Divine Flame Saint's attack was terrifying. This caused those cultivators to lose their confidence in Lin Feng. Lin Feng raised his eyebrows slightly. He looked at God Flame Saint in surprise. The divine ability that this fella used was truly powerful. Of course, the strength of the divine ability was one thing, but the most important thing was that the Divine Heavenly King's origin energy was too strong. Divine Heavenly King's origin energy greatly boosted Divine Flame Saint's attack. Therefore, Divine Flame Saint's attack was indeed terrifying. However, Lin Feng wasn't afraid at all. He walked forward in the void. Next, Lin Feng began to chant an incantation. "O mighty Tao of Fate, please descend with the power of fate, and let those elemental spirits that have long since passed away return to silence." It was Lin Feng's voice. It resounded between heaven and earth. As soon as his voice fell, a river of fate appeared in the void. The river of fate swept through the world. It shook the void. The river of fate directly enveloped the densely packed army that was crushing down on them. The power of fate descended. The power of fate surged into the bodies of these cultivators. When the power of fate entered the bodies of those cultivators, the cultivators' bodies began to fade away. The cultivator army itself was an illusory form. They were formed from divine abilities. It wasn't real. The power of fate returned them to nothingness. Not good. Seeing this, Xinyanqing's expression changed drastically. He originally wanted to use this powerful divine ability to defeat Lin Feng in one fell swoop, but he didn't expect Lin Feng's divine ability to restrain his divine ability. Looking at the densely packed army, their bodies seemed to have completely dissipated. Divine Flame Saint wasn't willing to give up just like that. Powerful Dharma power poured out endlessly to strengthen this technique. The illusory image of the army seemed to have solidified. However, the illusory army was destined to be unable to resist Lin Feng's Tao of Fate. When the army arrived in front of Lin Feng was stunned. The illusory image of the army dissipated. Seeing this scene, The corner of Divine Flame Saint's mouth twitched violently. He didn't want to believe what he saw. He couldn't accept what he saw. The peerless divine ability that was enhanced by the divine Heavenly King's origin energy was actually broken by Lin Feng. This was a huge blow to the arrogant Divine Flame Saint. Heavens! Is he already so powerful? The cultivators watching the battle exclaimed. It was no wonder that they were so shocked. Divine Flame Saint's attack was indeed too powerful. However, such a powerful attack wasn't even able to exert any of its power. Lin Feng had already broken it. No matter who it was, they would find it unbelievable. Lin Feng took advantage of this opportunity to rush toward Divine Flame Saint. Traverse the wilderness! Shatter the world! At this moment, Lin Feng also used a divine ability. The divine ability he'd used was the same one Divine Flame Saint had used before. Lin Feng had used the 72 transformations divine ability. He had deduced the method to use Divine Flame Saint's divine ability. Lin Feng's 72 transformations was heaven-defying. It was the inheritance of the great sage, heaven's equal. This divine ability could deduce all divine abilities. Therefore, in theory, any divine ability that Lin Feng saw, he could deduce it with the 72 transformations. Now, an endless army had gathered around Lin Feng. The army had traversed the wilderness. Shatter the world. It was a scene of apocalypse. When they saw this, everyone was dumbfounded. Lin Feng had actually used Divine Flame Saint's divine ability. This puzzled everyone. They didn't know how Lin Feng had done it. Isn't this guy too powerful? Sui Han couldn't help but exclaim. The female cultivators around her nodded in agreement. Lin Feng was indeed too powerful. The beautiful eyes of many female cultivators revealed extraordinary splendor. Since ancient times, beauties loved heroes. Lin Feng was so domineering. He was so powerful at such a young age. In addition, Lin Feng was extraordinarily handsome. It was only natural that countless women secretly admired him. Some female cultivators even wondered if they could ask senior sister Mu Yasi to introduce them to him. Maybe she would be able to marry Lin Feng. In truth, Mu Yasi was also very shocked at this moment. 72 transformations, the great sage, heaven's equals divine ability. Mu Yasi took a deep breath. This woman was indeed extraordinary. She recognized Lin Feng's divine ability at a glance. Lin Feng led an endless army and sent Divine Flame Saint flying. Barf! Divine Flame Saint spat out another mouthful of blood. Furthermore, the sound of bones cracking could be heard from his body. Who knew how many of his bones were broken? Seeing Divine Flame Saint in such a miserable state, many people felt satisfied. Divine Flame Saint, this guy. He would die 1,000 times. 10,000 times. It was hard to relieve the hatred in their hearts. Divine Flame Saint! You're really too weak. Today, I'll kill you first. Then, I'll find a chance to kill your father, Shinzongtian. Lin Feng sneered. Brat, you think too highly of yourself. Divine Flame Saint said coldly. He was so angry that he was about to go crazy. Now that he had suffered such serious injuries, it was simply the greatest humiliation in his life. Celestial bloodline. In the face of Lin Feng and his endless army, Divine Flame Saint shouted. Divine Flame Saint roared. Divine Flame Saint was a celestial cultivator. His celestial bloodline might not be comparable to that of the Celestial Emperor's bloodline, but that was only in relative terms. In fact, Divine Flame Saint's celestial bloodline was very powerful. In order to fight Lin Feng, Divine Flame Saint used his celestial bloodline. Divine Flame Saint's celestial bloodline was awakened. Celestial Holy Empire. Then, Divine Flame Saint roared. An ancient kingdom appeared behind Divine Flame Saint. That kingdom was the celestial race's ideal holy empire. Mysterious, ancient, powerful, and immortal. Billions of troops charged over. They were instantly devoured by Divine Flame Saint's celestial holy empire. Then, Divine Flame Saint summoned his celestial holy empire. Loud rumbling sounds could be heard. The celestial holy empire crushed the void and suppressed Lin Feng. Chapter 4478. The celestial Saint Empire was very terrifying. Previously, it had buried an endless army. Now, it wanted to bury Lin Feng. Celestial bloodline! Divine Flame Saint has activated his celestial bloodline. His celestial bloodline is extremely powerful. Now that he has activated his celestial bloodline, will that kid still be his match? Immediately, some cultivators cried out in alarm. The celestial bloodline was one of the most powerful bloodlines in the world. In fact, from the beginning of the era until now, all the major bloodlines had declined greatly. However, the celestial bloodline was one of the few bloodlines that had not declined much. Perhaps it was because of this that the celestial race was so prosperous now. The power of the celestial bloodline. It was absolutely shocking. In the Undying Realm, there were not many celestial race members. The celestial race members in the Undying Realm had a very respected status. For example, the Celestial Emperor's bloodline. For example, the Divine Heavenly King's bloodline. Their statuses were all high and mighty. They looked down on everyone. Usually, very few people could force them to use their celestial bloodline. However, under Lin Feng's continuous attacks, Divine Flame Saint had no choice but to activate his celestial bloodline. Divine Flame Saint's celestial bloodline was extremely powerful. Otherwise, he would not have condensed the Celestial Saint Empire. Many people looked at the Celestial Saint Empire with reverence in their eyes. It was as if they were ordinary people in the mortal world. They were as fearful as the nobles when they saw the imperial family. No one knew if Lin Feng could contend against Divine Flame Saint's celestial bloodline. Now, no one dared to comment on this matter anymore. This was because Lin Feng was too extraordinary. No matter what Lin Feng did, everyone felt that it was a matter of course. Therefore, even if Lin Feng could break Divine Flame Saint's celestial bloodline now, no one would have any doubts. Celestial bloodline. What a great celestial bloodline! But then again, celestial bloodline was not considered a particularly powerful bloodline in the human race back then. In the face of the Celestial Holy Empire's attack, Lin Feng still had a calm expression. After hearing Lin Feng's words, Shen Yanxing sneered and said, "Boy, you think too highly of yourself. The Deva bloodline is the most powerful bloodline in the world. As a human cultivator, your bloodline is destined to be suppressed by mine." Shen Yanxing looked at Lin Feng indifferently. Clearly, he was extremely confident in his Deva bloodline. The others also agreed with Divine Flame Saint's words. Because celestial bloodline. It was indeed one of the most powerful bloodlines of the human race. Lin Feng said, "In the era of the Xiantian human clan, there were many human bloodlines that surpassed the celestial being bloodline. But as time passed, most of these bloodlines died out. Have you heard of this saying? It's called choosing the general from the dwarves. It's not because of how powerful the Deva bloodline is. It's because after the Xiantian human bloodline died out, the seemingly ordinary Deva bloodline stood out among the many ordinary bloodlines." Lin Feng's words belittled the Deva bloodline as if it was nothing. This infuriated Shen Yanxing greatly. He sneered and said, "Boy, you're about to die, yet you still dare to boast shamelessly." As soon as he finished speaking, the Celestial Holy Empire descended from the sky. From afar, it looked like Lin Feng was about to be suppressed by the Celestial Holy Empire. At that moment, Lin Feng's cold laughter suddenly rang out. "The ignorant are fearless. Today, I'll let you know how powerful I am." As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Feng began to circulate his sovereign blood. Buzz! The blade of God vibrated with terrifying fluctuations. Then, it flew out of Lin Feng's dantian. The power contained within the blade of God was so great that it was shocking. Between heaven and earth, there was an ancient killing weapon, which was also the blade of God. And the blade of God that Lin Feng condensed was an ability that was awakened when the sovereign blood was awakened. So, Lin Feng had always felt that the Blade of God was an ancient killing weapon. Did it have a deep relationship with the sovereign imperial clan? Of course, whether it was what he guessed or not, this matter needed to be confirmed in the future. At this moment, the Blade of God had already flown to the side of the Celestial Holy Empire. Then, the Blade of God. It slashed towards the Celestial Holy Empire. Everyone saw Lin Feng's Blade of God. It actually tore apart the Celestial Holy Empire. Many people's eyeballs almost popped out of their sockets. The Celestial Holy Empire was a supernatural power condensed from the Deva bloodline. Now, it was actually unable to resist Lin Feng's attack. Lin Feng's attack was too powerful, wasn't it? It was really unbelievable. Everyone had a doubt in their hearts. How did Lin Feng cultivate? Even if he started cultivating when he was in his mother's womb, he would not be able to cultivate to such a heaven-defying fighting strength, right? But Lin Feng actually possessed such fighting strength, causing everyone to feel extremely shocked in their hearts. After the Blade of God destroyed the Celestial Holy Empire, it quickly slashed towards God Flame Saint. No! This is impossible! God Flame Saint roared hysterically. His Deva bloodline awakened. The attack that he unleashed, it was actually broken by Lin Feng. This was too big of a blow to God Flame Saint. God Flame Saint. He simply could not accept such a blow. I'm afraid God Flame Saint is finished. Many people's faces revealed a smile. The Sacred Army had destroyed many families and forces in the Sin domain. They even suspected that the other party was related to the sinner's blood descendants. They would slaughter the other party's entire family. The Sacred Army's reputation had long been completely ruined. But the Sacred Army was too powerful. So, even though everyone was extremely dissatisfied with the Sacred Army, they did not dare to say anything. Now that they saw that Lin Feng was very likely to kill God Flame Saint, a Sin domain cultivator, naturally, they were extremely excited. The Blade of God instantly arrived in front of God Flame Saint and slashed towards him. God Flame Saint took out a shield. He held the shield in his left hand to block the Blade of God's attack. Clang! The Blade of God ruthlessly slammed into the shield in God Flame Saint's hand. Suddenly, the sound of metal colliding could be heard. God Flame Saint's shield actually blocked the Blade of God's attack. Before he could even let out a sigh of relief, he felt a chill in his heart. He wanted to move horizontally, but it was already too late. Lin Feng silently appeared behind God Flame Saint. God Flame Saint did not have time to block Lin Feng's punch and was sent flying by Lin Feng. He spat out mouthfuls of blood in midair. His bones were broken, and his magic power was scattered by Lin Feng's punch. Die! Lin Feng's expression was indifferent as he sent a palm strike towards God Flame Saint. Kid! How dare you! At this moment, a cold voice suddenly rang out between heaven and earth. Then, an old man stepped out of the void and sent a palm strike towards Lin Feng. After sensing the old man's aura, many people could not help but turn pale with fright. This old man, he was actually an Earth Immortal expert. Chapter 4479. An Earth Immortal Realm expert was so powerful that Lin Feng had to take him seriously. If he wasn't careful, he might die at the hands of an Earth Immortal Realm expert. The Earth Immortal Realm expert in front of him was most likely Divine Flame Saint's protector. A protector was a bodyguard sent by the upper echelons of the family to protect important figures. Generally speaking, no one was qualified to intervene in such a battle of life and death in the arena. But obviously, the protector wouldn't sit by and watch Divine Flame Saint die at the hands of Lin Feng. Therefore, the Earth Immortal Realm expert attacked. His attack was very terrifying. But Lin Feng didn't plan to fight him head-on. When the Earth Immortal Realm expert attacked, Lin Feng used the teleportation magic. Swoosh! With a flash of light, Lin Feng disappeared. When Lin Feng reappeared, he was already beside Divine Flame Saint. Lin Feng waved his right hand and a sword she slashed toward Divine Flame Saint's head. No! Divine Flame Saint screamed in horror. But no one could save Divine Flame Saint. No one could stop Lin Feng from killing Divine Flame Saint. The sacred army slaughtered the descendants of the sinner's blood. Lin Feng had a strong killing intent toward the sacred army. How could he let go of an executioner like Divine Flame Saint? If he wanted to destroy the sacred army, he should start with Divine Flame Saint. Puff! With a tearing sound, everyone saw a head fly into the sky. It was Divine Flame Saint's head. Lin Feng's sword she was so powerful that it didn't just cut off Divine Flame Saint's head. It also destroyed all of Divine Flame Saint's life force. So when Divine Flame Saint's head flew into the sky, all of Divine Flame Saint's life force was cut off. Blood spurted out from his neck. Countless people widened their eyes as they watched this scene in shock. Divine Flame Saint was really killed. He was the grandson of the sacred Heavenly King and was doted on by the sacred Heavenly King. That was why Divine Flame Saint had a protector by his side. However, right now, even the protector hadn't been able to save Divine Flame Saint. The scene in front of him. It was indeed too shocking. However, this made countless people extremely excited. That grandson of Divine Flame Saint. He was finally dead. It was good that he died. It was great that he died. But then, everyone began to worry about Lin Feng. Everyone naturally hoped that Lin Feng would be fine. But Lin Feng killed Divine Flame Saint. The army of the Sacred Legion and that Earth Immortal level expert would not let Lin Feng go, would they? How could he escape? Could it be that he was going to die here? You! At that moment, the Earth Immortal cultivator pointed at Lin Feng. He was so angry that his whole body trembled. As the Tao protector of Divine Flame Saint, he couldn't absolve himself from the blame for Divine Flame Saint's death. Little bastard! No one in this world can save you! The Earthly Immortal Realm expert roared furiously. A dense killing intent burst out from his eyes. Woo! At the same time, the sound of a bugle horn resounded through heaven and earth. Then, a dense army of the Sacred Legion surrounded Lin Feng from all directions. Lin Feng stood on top of the arena, facing thousands of soldiers and horses. He was still as calm as a mountain. Such a bearing. It was extremely admirable. Capture him alive. I will personally deliver this little bastard to the Divine Heavenly King and let him deal with him. The Earth Immortal expert's voice was filled with resentment. Kill! After receiving the order, the Sacred Legion's army of cultivators all rushed toward Lin Feng. The enemy's army of cultivators has been mobilized, and there's even an Earth Immortal expert. I'm afraid that kid is in danger. Seeing this, a cultivator immediately said. In the eyes of countless people, at this moment, Lin Feng was indeed in danger. After all, the Sacred Legion's forces were just too powerful. And everyone knew. The Sacred Legion would definitely spare no expense. Capture Lin Feng. Because, if the Sacred Legion's cultivators did not capture Lin Feng, they would not be able to explain it to their superiors. Relying on the Sacred Legion's cruel rules, when the time came, they would most likely be severely punished. So now, in order to capture Lin Feng, these people used all their means, without holding back. Come out! Facing the siege of the army, Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. With a wave of his hand, 2 large insect swarms were immediately released by Lin Feng. Ancient Demon Refining Insect Swarm. Celestial Devouring Insect Swarm. Blotting out the sky and covering the earth, they flew toward the surrounding cultivators. A large number of insects instantly drowned those cultivators. Incomparably shrill screams were heard. Many cultivators did not even have time to react before they were bitten to death by the insects. Then, those cultivators began to hurriedly cast defensive light shields or took out powerful magic treasures to resist the insect swarm's attack. At this moment, the Sacred Legion's army stationed in other positions was quickly rushing over. Lin Feng knew. With his own strength, he wanted to contend against the Sacred Legion's army that had an Earth Immortal level expert. It was simply unrealistic. Therefore, Lin Feng did not plan to continue staying here. Lin Feng had almost inquired about the information that he wanted to know. It was time to leave Divine Monarch City. Sacred Heavenly King should be killed. Now this young master will first kill Divine Flame Saint. Not long after, I will definitely cut off the Sacred Heavenly King's dog head. Lin Feng could not help but laugh. Under the cover of the endless insect swarm, Lin Feng quickly flew in the direction of the city gate. As the Sacred Legion's army had not yet arrived, only a portion of the Sacred Legion's cultivators stationed in the city tower had arrived. Therefore, this portion of people could not stop Lin Feng at all. The Earth Immortal level expert wanted to capture Lin Feng, but the insect swarm was too terrifying. In addition, Lin Feng had taken out 5 stone swords. The 5 stone swords were hidden in the insect swarm. Whenever the Earth Immortal level expert attacked, Lin Feng would immediately activate the stone swords to deal with him. The Earth Immortal level expert was almost killed by Lin Feng's stone swords. Therefore, he did not dare to continue forward. Activate the array, completely trap him. The Earth Immortal level expert shouted loudly. The Sacred Legion's Spirit Array Master completely activated the Divine Monarch City's array. The Divine Monarch City's array formed a huge light shield. It completely enveloped the entire Divine Monarch City within. The people outside could not come in. The people inside could not come out either. Ha ha ha, kid, you are now a turtle in a jar. Do you think you can still escape? Today, you won't be able to escape even if you have wings. Seeing Lin Feng trapped in the Divine Monarch City by the array, the Earth Immortal level expert suddenly laughed out loud. In his opinion, the current Lin Feng was already a trapped beast. He wanted to play Lin Feng to death, so he could play Lin Feng to death. Chapter 4480. Not good! The Divine Sovereign City has been sealed off. That kid is trapped inside the city. I'm afraid he's finished this time. Yeah, now that he's trapped in the Divine Sovereign City, when the Sacred Army stationed in all directions arrives, how powerful will the Sacred Army be? Even if this kid has 2 kinds of powerful insect swarms, I'm afraid he'll still be dead by then. To be honest, this kid is a heaven-defying genius. It's really a pity to die in the hands of these people. Countless people started to discuss, and many people even began to feel sorry for Lin Feng, because they felt that Lin Feng would definitely not be able to escape death. After seeing the trapped Lin Feng, Sui Han didn't know why, but she unexpectedly said, "Senior sister, is that guy really unable to escape? Should we help him?" Muyasi said, "Don't worry, I think he still has a way. This person. He's really unfathomable." Hearing senior sister Muyasi say that Lin Feng might still have a way. Although she was quite worried about Lin Feng, Sui Han could only calm her heart and continue to wait. She looked into the distance and saw Lin Feng directly rushing towards the Divine Sovereign City's defensive light shield. Sui Han frowned slightly. Why did Lin Feng rush towards the defensive light shield? The most important thing to do now was to quickly enter the Divine Sovereign City and hide before the Sacred Army's army closed in. After all, the Divine Sovereign City was so huge. Hiding might temporarily avoid the other party's search. But obviously, Lin Feng didn't seem to think so. In Sui Han's view, Lin Feng rushing towards the defensive light shield, wasn't this courting death? Why did he do this? Sui Han couldn't figure it out. But the next moment, Sui Han's beautiful eyes widened. Because when Lin Feng arrived in front of the defensive light shield, he actually easily tore apart the defensive light shield. Such means were really extraordinary. It made Sui Han's heart filled with deep shock. What kind of powerful array level was this? To be able to destroy the defensive light shield so easily? Think about it. It gave people a feeling of disbelief. But Lin Feng did it. Not to mention, he did it in front of so many cultivators. Lin Feng rushed out of the crack in the array. Damn it! Damn it! Hurry up and chase! We can't let that brat escape! The earthly immortal expert roared in exasperation when he saw this scene. He couldn't accept what he saw. Lin Feng actually wanted to escape. Something like this must never happen. Or else. How was he going to explain this to the higher-ups? The earthly immortal realm expert led his army out of the divine monarch's city and chased after Lin Feng. But obviously, Lin Feng had long since disappeared without a trace. What happened in divine monarch's city could not be concealed at all. The news spread like wildfire. Especially the death of divine flame saint, which caused a huge uproar in Sin Domain. The sacred army guarded the Sin Domain. Which cultivator in Sin Domain was not afraid of the sacred army? The sacred army was definitely a force that no one dared to provoke in Sin Domain. But now, there was actually a grandson who killed the sacred heavenly king. The young master of the sacred army. Was this a challenge to the sacred army? Was this a slap to the sacred heavenly king's face? And it was said that the person who killed divine flame saint was a young human cultivator. This matter made people's imagination run wild. At this moment, in Sin Domain, ancient cities, there were many ordinary cities. Even the cultivators in small towns. They were all talking about this matter. Who do you think killed divine flame saint? He even said that he would kill the sacred heavenly king in the future. He's really bold. Yeah, I've never seen such a bold person, but this person's strength is really strong. Back then, he tore apart the divine monarch city's defensive light shield and left. Such means were really shocking. If he was given time, he might really be able to kill the sacred heavenly king. Don't joke around. The sacred heavenly king is a true immortal. No matter how strong that kid is, he can't be the sacred heavenly king's opponent. Didn't you say to give him time? Youth is capital. Who can say for sure what will happen in the future? That's true. Do you think that the kid who killed divine flame saint also has the sinner's bloodline? Ah? Sinner's bloodline? Is that possible? Of course. First of all, did that kid need to kill divine flame saint? That would completely offend the sacred army. Second, he said that he would kill the sacred heavenly king in the future. This means that there's a grudge between him and the sacred heavenly king or the sacred army. Finally, he's a human cultivator, and he's so heaven-defying that even divine flame saint wasn't his match. Divine flame saint is a celestial cultivator with a powerful bloodline. I heard that during the war, that kid was extremely disdainful of the celestial bloodline and even said that the celestial bloodline was only an ordinary one among the innate human bloodlines. As a human cultivator, he killed divine flame saint despite being weaker than him. This means that his bloodline is definitely stronger than divine flame saints. Most of the ancient human bloodlines during the innate human era have fallen silent, but that doesn't mean that all of them have fallen silent. There are still some that haven't fallen silent, but those are all labeled as sinners' bloodlines. That's why I think that kid might be a sinner's bloodline possessor. In various places, all sorts of discussions could be heard. There were also many cultivators guessing Lin Feng's origins. After some analysis, some concluded that Lin Feng was a descendant of the sinner's bloodline. It had to be said. In this world, there were indeed some extremely intelligent people. Lin Feng's identity. The other party had guessed correctly. Not long after, an arrest warrant was issued. Sin Realm had placed a bounty on Lin Feng. However, the sacred army was unable to draw a portrait of Lin Feng. Because Lin Feng's luck was too strong. Anyone who drew a portrait of Lin Feng, that portrait would instantly combust. And then it would turn into ashes. Thus, Lin Feng's arrest warrant. They could only use words to describe Lin Feng's appearance. But to describe his appearance with words, it was obviously not as vivid as a portrait. It was also very difficult for people to distinguish Lin Feng. Other than Lin Feng, Wu Tianhai was also wanted by the Sacred Army. There was a portrait of Wu Tianhai, and it was extremely lifelike. It was extremely close to Wu Tianhai's appearance. What shocked everyone was the arrest warrant read, Lin Feng and Wu Tianhai were accomplices. Anyone who caught the two of them or provided clues about them would be heavily rewarded. The moment the arrest warrant was issued, it immediately caused another huge uproar. Wu Tianhai was the demon realm's sinner's blood. Lin Feng and Wu Tianhai were accomplices. Didn't that mean, could this already confirm the fact that Lin Feng was also a sinner's blood? The only difference between him and Wu Tianhai was, Lin Feng was not the demon realm's sinner's blood, but the human race's sinner's blood. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.